Hi, my name is Lily, in case you're new, and I just read Harry Potter for the first time. Basically what I did is I vlogged my experience reading Harry Potter. I smashed all of those clips together and I'm going to play them for you in a second. Basically what I knew about Harry Potter before reading this book, yes, I'm reading the American version, so Sorcerer's Stone. Apparently they're different. I don't know how, I think they changed a few words, but I don't think it matters too much. The extent of my knowledge on Harry Potter before reading it was, I read this book when I was like 8 years old. I've watched the first two movies, Goblet of Fire and the first half of Order of the Phoenix. I have absolutely no idea what happens in any of the other books, pretty much. I think I've been spoiled for like 1 or 2 deaths. I don't know which books they happen in, and I don't know how and when and why, but whenever I think of Harry Potter, I literally just imagine the first 2 movies smashed together. Those are the ones I probably know the best. Everything else, I haven't seen any of the movies since I was like 10. I've just been completely disconnected from the Harry Potter franchise for like quite a long time. Spoilers if you haven't read the later books or if you haven't like seen the movies or anything, but literally all I know about Harry Potter is, okay, I know there's like a tournament with dragons. They go back in time at some point. Someone's secretly a shark. Someone's secretly a werewolf. There's a maze that eats somebody. There's a guy with like a googly eye. There's a thing called Patronuses, which I guess are ghost animals, and they like protect you, I think. I feel like that's my knowledge on Harry Potter. The first 2 books aren't going to be a surprise to me because I already know like what happens in them and the twists, and they're the 2 movies that I remember the best. I don't know how I've managed to avoid like spoilers for this series for so fucking long. Now that we're on the same page, you know what I know, cool. Let's get into what I thought about this first book. Harry Potter is that series that I feel like you can only really be a massive die-hard fan for if you grew up with it. You know, unfortunately for me, reading this series for the first time as essentially an adult, obviously it's not going to impact me the way it's impacted everyone else, everyone who grew up with the series. But yeah, that being said, I like the story, but it's not like my new favorite thing. It hasn't like changed my life, but it was a really sweet story and I really liked it, okay? So what did I think of it? I think it's a really sweet story. It's so cute. The kids are so cute. They're so brave and courageous. They always stand up for the right thing. And I think their curiosity and persistence in uncovering information about matters that don't concern them at all was quite endearing. They are very fucking naive. These little 11-year-old kids think they are going to defeat all these really powerful, experienced dark wizards and like protect this super precious stone. Bitch, you've been at magic school for like 1 year. Sit the fuck down. It's so funny. Like, they're so naive. At the end of the day, they're just like typical kids. They think they know everything. They think they're indestructible. And they make mistakes. One thing I will say about reading this and not being the target audience, which is children, the writing did feel very juvenile. I think it does hinder the reading experience for adults. I mean, obviously, if this is like your childhood favorite, it's not gonna matter to you, but like, if you're reading it for the first time as an adult, you're gonna be like, whoa. Oftentimes, it did feel like I was being told a story, not being shown a story, if that makes sense. What do you expect as a book for kids? Like, obviously it's going to be written with a younger audience in mind. I loved learning about the world so damn much. It was like my favorite part about reading Harry Potter. All I want is to just keep learning about the world, the wizarding world. It's so interesting to me. Also, I really liked all the characters. Characters had really distinct personalities. All the side characters really held their own. Every character, even the side characters, are complex, and I really like that. There's no two-dimensional, boring-ass background characters. J.K. Rowling really put in the effort to make sure that everyone is there with a purpose. I really like this book's focus on like bravery and standing up for yourself, facing your fears. I think it's a really good message, especially for younger readers. I feel like the book went really quickly. I think since there was just so much world building and backstory, by the time we actually ended up at Hogwarts, I was already like halfway through the book. And also I feel like once we got to Hogwarts, everything just flew by plot-wise. One thing I do want to point out is this whole like thing about Slytherin. I don't know if I'm just like speaking too soon because I obviously haven't read the other books and I don't know what happens, but I'm here to give you my perspective on reading it for the first time with no knowledge about the later books. So this is what I'm thinking right now. There is no doubt in my mind that Slytherin is 100% set up to be the evil house. Like, come on. There's almost no redeeming qualities to Slytherin at all mentioned in the first book. I don't know if J.K. Rowling decided to change her mind and like make Slytherin, it's actually not that bad, everyone. Slytherin's actually not even that bad. Just because like the franchise really blew up and people were like, you know what I mean? No one wanted to be a Slytherin, and like, I feel like later on, they've definitely tried to make it all like, no, Slytherin's actually cool, everyone. Like, Slytherin was just obviously set up to be the evil house. Every teacher, Snape, the head of Slytherin, there's nothing nice about Snape. Malfoy, Harry's like little enemy, is in Slytherin. The Quidditch team from Slytherin are like cheaters, they don't play fair, they're like really nasty. Their fucking mascot is a damn snake. Like, what do you think? There's an actual quote that says, there wasn't a witch or wizard who went bad who wasn't in Slytherin. Everything about Slytherin just screams antagonist. There were a lot of like, what the fuck moments during this book. The whole like house point system is just so fucking all over the place, honestly. These kids go out of their way to take down this troll. Hermione loses 5 points for putting their lives in danger. Later on in the book, they're literally just out of bed, caught being out of bed, and they lose 50 fucking points each. What? 5 points from Gryffindor for trying to kill a troll and like putting their lives in actual danger and blah blah blah. And then 50 fucking points each. 150 points from Gryffindor for being out of bed at nighttime. What the actual fuck, first of all. Second of all, how? Explain! Also want to talk about Professor McGonagall for a sec. These first year students come up to her and they're like, the Philosopher's Stone is in danger. And she just dismisses them. I think if a bunch of first year students came up to me, basically telling me that like this thing that they should have absolutely no knowledge about and like is supposed to be super secretive and is being guarded by like 5 different professors at the school, they came up to me saying it's in danger, I'd be like, maybe I'll look into this. Even just a little bit, because first year students definitely shouldn't know about the stone. Nothing makes sense, okay? Apart from those like couple ridiculous aspects about this book, I do really think it's a cute story. I do really love how mature Harry is about going through the trapdoor. I know Hermione is like, oh no, think of how many points you'll lose, Gryffindor, like we've already lost so many. He comes at it with this like, there are more important things at stake than just house points. He looks at the bigger picture and he just like throws caution to the wind and just does it, goes for it. It's just like so Gryffindor, you know what I mean? It was really cute. It was a really cute story. The scenes after the trapdoor were like really good, by the way. Had such a strong focus on like friendship and bravery. Overall, I really did like Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. I did combine all of the footage that I took of me like actually reading the book in real time for you to watch. I did vlog my experience reading it, so I will play that for you now. Started reading Harry Potter. Okay, you know what? I just want to talk about that very first fucking chapter of Harry Potter. Dumbledore, Professor McGonagall, and Hagrid leave baby Harry on the Dursleys' doorstep. They just leave him on the doorstep. They don't knock on the door. They don't ring a bell. They literally just leave this bitch. They just leave this baby on the ground. Who does that? They didn't even like put a protective spell over him or anything like that. It was literally just like, you're on your own now, boy who lived. Boy who's probably not going to live. The Dursleys are just terrible. Like, I don't think there's a single redeeming quality about them. I don't understand how anybody could treat a child like that. They're in Diagon Alley right now buying all of Harry's school books for the first time. The whole concept of the wizarding world is so interesting. I think I really like learning about all of the different type of shit that wizards have. My favorite part so far is definitely learning about the wizarding world, how everything works. Snape is so annoying. Harry goes into his potions class. Snape just hates him for no reason, like right off the bat. Like, I know that there's like some kind of grudge between him and his parents or whatever, but like really to that extent, Snape just starts grilling him on all these like magic questions that Harry clearly doesn't know the answer to. Oh, Harry Potter, think you're so famous, think you're so good. Oh yeah, well, what's the square root of a fucking cauldron? Like, how many magicians does it take to change a light bulb? And Harry's like, oh, I don't know. And he's just like, clearly fame isn't everything. It's like this Harry Potter kid literally just rocked up at this magic school, has no idea what the fuck is going on. Clearly he's not all up himself thinking like, I'm the greatest fucking wizard that ever lived. Snape is so salty for no reason. It's like Snape thinks that Harry's like really cocky and arrogant, thinks he's really up himself because he's so famous, and Snape just keeps making it about his fame. I don't know where this is coming from, but Harry is like not arrogant at all about his fame. Like, he grew up in a Muggle family, he doesn't know shit. Okay, Neville fucks up his thing, and then Snape turns to Harry and is like, Potter, this is your fault. Why didn't you tell him not to add the quills? Thought it'd make you look good if he got it wrong, did you? It's not Harry's job to tell Neville what to do. Like, they're not even in the same group. That's another point you've lost from Gryffindor. Like, what the fuck are you on, bitch? He's so salty. Harry actually does get a lot of special treatment at Hogwarts. See, it's funny because it's like he's either being treated like super unfair by like Snape or whatever, or he's getting like special treatment from Professor McGonagall or whatever. When he was like learning how to fly a broom, right? The teacher was like, oh, I'll be right back. If anyone flies their broom while I'm gone, like, you'll be expelled, blah, blah, blah. Harry like breaks the rules, flies on the broom anyway. A teacher catches him, and instead of getting in trouble for it, they like give him a free awesome broomstick, and he becomes like the youngest ever seeker on a Quidditch team, and he's totally getting special treatment. You can't help but not give a fuck. You think about like how shit his life has been with the Dursleys. He's been treated like dirt underneath the Dursleys' feet for 11 years. It's kind of like, fuck, give him something, you know? J.K. Rowling is actually really good at setting the reader up to believe one thing and then completely blindsiding them and like completely catching them off guard. She does this over and over again, but it's done really well. It's like she did it with platform 9 3/4. Harry like gets to the platform. He can't find platform 9 3/4. He asks for help. The guy's like, what the fuck, that doesn't exist. Platform 9 3/4, like, this kid is cooked. You see how she sets you up to believe like, oh no, there's no such thing as platform 9 3/4. It's all a setup. It's a massive joke on Harry. And then like plot twist, you get there from like running into a fucking brick wall casually. She does it again with the sorting ceremony. By the way, Harry's freaking out about, oh no, I'm not prepared for it. Like, I don't know any spells. She sets you up to think that he's gonna have to do some kind of like test to prove himself and like be sorted into a house, and then it turns out, oh no, you just put a hat on your head, like, it's fine. And with the broomstick, where he's told not to fly and then he flies and he gets caught, and then you think he's about to get in like massive trouble, like get expelled or something. Turns out they make him like the youngest ever Gryffindor seeker, and then he gets like this free awesome broomstick. You know, it's just like stuff like that over and over again. I think it's really clever how she sets the reader up to believe one thing is about to happen and make you really worried for the main character, and then she just is like, nah. Okay, can we just talk about Malfoy for a second? This kid is so annoying. I don't understand why he has this obsession with like putting down Harry all the time and like shit talking the Weasleys. Constantly putting people down is not going to make you any better. I feel like Malfoy just walks around with the biggest chip on his shoulder. I think maybe he keeps putting down Harry because he feels threatened by him. Someone please explain to me why a bunch of 11-year-old children think they're going to carry a baby dragon underneath an invisibility cloak by themselves at midnight, out of bed, undetected, without making a noise, all through the school, up to the tallest tower at Hogwarts, to give this dragon to these men that are gonna fly in on broomsticks. Okay, almost gets killed by a troll, deliberately disobeys everyone, 5 points from Gryffindor. Caught out of bed, wandering around at nighttime, 150 points from Gryffindor. How the fuck? That's literally the most ridiculous thing I've ever. Their punishment for being out of bed at nighttime is to go into a dark forest, a dark forbidden forest that is out of bounds. So I'm pretty sure you'd get detention for going into this forest anyways, right? Because you're not allowed to go there. Yet their detention is to go into the dark forest. What the fuck? Their punishment is essentially to go into a place they're not allowed to go into for being in a place that they weren't allowed to be. But there's werewolves that can kill us. Their response, should have thought about that before you got in trouble. Literally everything about this detention is so stupid right now. They break up into two groups, right? They go into the forest with Hagrid and Fang, which is like his vicious dog or whatever. So one of the groups takes Fang and then the other group takes Hagrid. They're supposed to be tracking down where this like dead unicorn is. If you were going to be tracking down something that killed a unicorn, like, why would you bring first years with you? They even say like killing a unicorn, you've got to be like a really fucked up creature or like really evil to do that. Harry and Malfoy and Fang go off in a separate group together. Hagrid literally goes, don't worry, like, in the Forbidden Forest, like, you'll be fine as long as you've got either me or Fang with you. You'll be safe, it's fine. And then they run into this hooded figure that's like drinking the unicorn blood. Fang just fucking runs away. As soon as they encounter actual danger, like, Fang just fucking bolts. Like, leaving Harry for dead. You'll be fine as long as you've got me or Fang. Fang doesn't give a fuck, bitch. Fang is all about self-preservation. Doesn't give a fuck about the boy who lived. Like, no, bitch, this is the Fang who lived. That, I will never not laugh at that. That is just so funny to me. I think the trapdoor sequence was really well done. It was really interesting. I really liked each like protective layer that was put in place by one of the professors that they had to get through. It was like a little test. I don't think they put this in the movie. I'm not, maybe my memory's just really bad, but the scene with the potions and how Hermione had to figure out that riddle to figure out which potion was safe to drink. It was strange. The key scene, I swear to God, I thought the keys like chased Harry and tried to kill him. You know, I thought it was like he had to capture the right one, but he was also being attacked by keys at the same time. So yeah, the key scene was not as good as what I was expecting in that regard, because I thought the keys were about to start trying to kill him when Ron sacrificed himself in the chess game so that they could keep going. This kid is so cute. These kids are so fucking cute and so brave. In the book, like some stone sculptor just smacks this bitch across the face and like he falls to the ground. And I swear in the movie they just like, he like sits on the statue and then they just like smash the statue and the statue crumbles and like Ron falls down. But in the book they just smack this bitch. It's fucked. Okay, so I know I have already seen the movie, so I did already know the whole plot twist with Quirrell, but I will say it was done so fucking well in the book. The way Quirrell's character is set up in the book really does make it so unexpected when it's revealed that it's him. He's like the absolute last guy you would expect. I think if I didn't already know, I would be like really shocked. I think it was a really good ending. So that's basically it for Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. I hope you found it interesting to see what I thought of it. My next video will be sorting myself into a Hogwarts house if you want to see what I would be in. So I know a lot of people have requested that I do that, so you'll see that soon. I'm going to keep making these kind of videos for the entirety of the series. So if you want to follow along with my journey of reading Harry Potter for the first time, I've just finished The Chamber of Secrets. We're going to talk about this today. I did already say this in my first video, but first two books were not going to be a surprise to me. I already knew all the twists and stuff for that. I have seen a couple of the movies when I was like really young, and the two that I like remember are Philosopher's Stone and Chamber of Secrets. So I already knew most of the twists. So yeah, with that in mind, this is my first time reading Chamber of Secrets though. Okay, so I think the way I'm going to do this series, a lot of you guys commented on the first video saying that you really loved the whole idea of me including all of my initial thoughts while reading, like the vlog footage, seeing my thoughts as I read the book. That makes sense? I don't know. Apparently you all really like that, so I'm going to keep doing that. So yeah, the way I'm going to do these videos is I'm going to split them up. The first half will be sitting down and talking about my overall feelings on the book, and then I'll put my like vlog of reading the book at the end. Okay, so what did I think of Chamber of Secrets? I feel like with this book, the plot overall was more like intriguing and like intense than the previous book. Mystery thriller is like my favorite genre of all time to read. So I really liked this plot because it felt like we were slowly uncovering this mystery, narrowing down suspects and finding clues and stuff like that. I really liked learning more about Hogwarts and especially learning more about Slytherin and like the history of Slytherin House. That was really interesting. We got a lot more backstory. This is gonna sound weird, but I really liked the addition of the character Gilderoy Lockhart. He was an extremely entertaining character to read about. He was so fucking annoying. I think I wanted to strangle him like every time he spoke, but his character was very entertaining. And his character was really well like fleshed out as well. He's so up himself and like so arrogant about his achievements. You can really see how hard he tries to like overcompensate for the fact that he hasn't done shit all. He's not like fucking legend at all. Like he's just a flog, and you can see how hard he tries to sell this idea that like I'm the best. And I also really liked just the overall attitude towards Gilderoy Lockhart. It was very much like everyone just knows he's a flog and like everyone just doesn't like him. Another thing I like, just spending time with the Weasley family at the beginning of the book. First of all, it's like Harry's first time being around a wizarding family and like being in a wizard's house. In the first book, I really wanted to know why Hagrid got expelled from Hogwarts. And I was bummed that like we never found out, and I thought it was going to be like some fucking mystery for the whole series. I'm glad we finally got to find out why in this book. The overall tone of this book felt a lot darker than the first one. Book one felt really magical and whimsical. This one, for some reason, felt like a little bit more serious compared to the first one. This one just felt like a little bit more. When the attacks started happening and all of that shit, no one was really fucking around anymore. It was all like, oh shit, like Hogwarts is about to die. The thing that was like a little bit frustrating is just the overall lack of using the invisibility cloak. There are so many times in this book when it just would have been so easy to do something. They make an entire potion that takes a month to like turn into other people to find out about Slytherin. Why didn't they just put on the invisibility cloak and like follow someone into Slytherin? I don't know, I feel like there was a lot of times in this book that they should have just used the invisibility cloak and they just never did. So I want to talk about the beginning just for like a sec. With the whole not being able to get onto the platform and then taking the car situation, they didn't really wait long before deciding to break free. They couldn't get through the platform and then it was like, oh shit, Mom and Dad can't get back. Looks like we're gonna have to take the car. And then they just go steal the car and fly it to Hogwarts. These are adult wizards, like I'm pretty sure they would have found a way back. They literally say, what, Harry's like, oh, but what about your parents? And he's like, oh, they'll just teleport home. I mean, if they can just teleport home, like what's stopping them from just teleporting back to the car? Or like teleporting back through the platform? If they'd even just waited like a sec. I don't know. They steal a car. And also McGonagall mentions this. She's like, why didn't you send us an owl letting us know about the situation? Like you couldn't get onto the platform. And they're like, oh, I didn't think about that. But we did think about stealing a flying invisible car. Okay, but like that's one thing. They get to Hogwarts. Not only do they like injure some old tree, they literally reveal a flying car to Muggles. They basically just exposed magic to the general public. No points taken from Gryffindor. Just a detention. I know we basically just exposed magic to Muggles, but it was technically before school started, so I don't think any points should be taken from Gryffindor. And the teacher's like, you're right. I feel like that's fucked. Hope we don't get any points taken off our Hogwarts house. Like that's the most important issue. I just can't. I seriously question this school so much. Like there is absolutely no logic. I don't know if it's just because everyone relies on magic so much that logic just goes out the fucking window. But at the end, the teachers are all like, yeah, guess what everyone? In light of recent events, there's gonna be no exams. Exams have been cancelled, yay. What kind of school cancels exams as like a reward? As I'm going to keep doing with all the books in this series, I recorded a bunch of vlog footage of me reading the book. So yeah, without further ado, I'll just play that for you now. You know what I think is so funny? After the Weasley kids rescue Harry in the car, when they get home and the mum is just like yelling at all the sons. Like what would you do if your friend's parents were just fucking yelling at your friend, going off their nut and you're just like awkwardly there? I really like getting to spend this time in an actual wizarding family. Harry's never really been around a wizarding family. I'm at the part where they've just gone to the signing, like Gilderoy Lockhart's book signing, and just Malfoy's dad. The Malfoy family in general are just nasty, like mean-spirited, hateful people I don't understand. Oh, fucking pure blood wizards. Oh, fucking fuck yourself. He's gross. Gilderoy Lockhart is the most fucking annoying person. I swear to God. One of the things I remember is that Gilderoy Lockhart stole memories from people and he like never actually did any of the stuff. He just like stole people's memories. And knowing that, you just see how he's got this massive chip on his shoulder, how he acts towards Harry, constantly trying to shut him down, undermine him all the time, kind of reflects his insecurities with not being famous for a genuine reason. Like Harry's fame is legitimate. It's half annoying and half like extremely hilarious. You only flew that car because I gave you a taste of fame in the bookshop when you got photographed with me. Everything about this Gilderoy Lockhart character is just fucking laughable. Seriously, like this test that he makes his class take, it's just 54 questions about Gilderoy Lockhart. What is Gilderoy Lockhart's favorite color? What is Gilderoy Lockhart's greatest achievement? When is Gilderoy Lockhart's birthday? And what would his ideal gift be? Like, it's 54 questions about himself. Okay, so they've just found Filch's cat petrified. So they're talking to the kids. Why does Snape always have like an evil grin on his face after something shady happens? I feel like I've noticed this a lot. In the first book, he did a lot of shit that made him look really shady and suspicious, and just the way he reacted in certain situations really made him look suspicious. And he's like doing it again now. It's like setting Snape's character up to just be the initial suspect all the time. And then when he suggests that Harry gets taken off the Quidditch team, it's just odd. I already know he has nothing to do with it. Why even try to set Snape up as like being, I don't know. I ended up reading a lot this morning, despite Chamber of Secrets being one of the movies that I remember the most from. I don't actually remember too well who the heir was. From memory, it was Harry. After reading this book now, I feel like that doesn't make sense for it to be Harry. I feel like it wasn't actually him, like that was the twist. This is the shit thing about watching a couple of the movies but not remembering the movies, because I don't know what to believe now. Okay, so I'm up to the part with the rogue bludger, the bludger that just keeps trying to kill Harry. And the thing that I don't understand is they're like, oh, we can't ask for a inquiry because that means we'll have to forfeit the game and then Slytherin will win. So there's nothing they can do about it. Like, they know the bludger is tampered, but they can't do anything about it, otherwise they'll lose the match. But surely if one of the balls in the game, like one of the bludgers, was tampered with, surely the school would just call the match off and like nobody wins? And if a bludger was tampered to only go for the Gryffindor seeker, doesn't that look a little bit suspicious? Why would Gryffindor get disqualified? Wouldn't Slytherin get disqualified because it looks like Slytherin has tampered with the thing to knock off the seeker? Because that's ridiculous. Like, why should one of their players have to be in danger the whole match and get targeted the whole match, but they can't forfeit, otherwise they'll lose the match? That's so unfair and it just makes no sense. So I'm at the part, Hermione's like, oh, create a diversion and I'll go steal the ingredients for the polyjuice potion from Snape's private potion collection. I don't know. They literally have access to an invisibility cloak. Like, why are you not utilizing that? Why are they not using this cloak that turns them invisible? If I had that, I'd be using it all the time for like everything. Even when I could be visible, I'd just be invisible because like, why the fuck not? I can be invisible. Okay, so I just finished that scene where they had the dueling club. We find out that Harry's a parcel mouth, so he can speak to snakes. Okay, I have a theory. Harry just came back from the library and he overheard those Hufflepuff kids talking about how speaking parcel tongue is the mark of a dark wizard. So the fact that he said everyone knows that's the mark of a dark wizard, I think, you ready for my theory? Dumbledore said in the first book that the scar on Harry's head is like the mark of really dark magic or something like that. Something like that. When Harry was a baby and Voldemort tried to kill him and Harry, like, I don't know, evaporated his powers or whatever the fuck. Like, whatever happened, I think when he did that and he left that mark on Harry, I think he like transported his ability to speak parcel tongue to Harry when he did that, because he left that scar on him. Obviously his ability to speak to snakes comes from Voldemort. Okay, even better theory. Even better theory. Voldemort's the heir. He transferred his powers into Harry. That's why Harry can speak parcel tongue. That's why the chamber's open again, because like the heir is back, but it's actually just Voldemort in Harry. Oh my god, it makes sense. That makes perfect sense. Did I just predict the ending? I think I just did. I think I just figured it all out. It's kind of fucked how all the evidence is really stacking up against Harry. First of all, he has a run-in with Filch, and then Filch's cat ends up petrified. Then the snake incident with Justin Finch Fletchley. Harry was just in the library asking where Justin Finch Fletchley is. Now Justin Finch Fletchley shows up petrified, and like Harry's the one that found him, and like, oh, it just looks so bad. Okay, so we're in Dumbledore's office right now. Harry's just waiting in there by himself while Professor McGonagall goes and gets Dumbledore. He sees this really sick old looking bird, like Dumbledore's pet. Looks like the bird is like about to die any second. He's like, great, like that's the last thing I'd need is for Dumbledore's pet to just die while I'm in the office alone with it. And then the bird just like bursts into flames. He's just been in the wrong place at the wrong time so many times. And now just like this bird. I want to talk about the Dursleys. So they sent Harry a toothpick for Christmas, which first of all is hilarious. I'm just wondering, because they sent that letter to Harry through Hedwig, his owl. But how would the Dursleys know how to send Harry mail by an owl? Especially since they hate wizarding families and wizards in general, which makes me highly doubt whether they would have even bothered to learn how to use owls to communicate. And how did they actually send it? Did Hedwig just go back to the Dursley house? They don't have their own owl to send to Harry, so Hedwig would have had to go to them. But why would Hedwig go back to them? And also, like, how would they know how to call Hedwig? That just stumps me. I feel like that's a plot hole. No, but I actually want to know how that works. I'm just curious. I actually want to know how the Dursleys were able to send Harry a letter by owl. Right now I'm up to the part where they're in Hagrid's house with Cornelius Fudge. Dumbledore and Lucius Malfoy. First of all, they're getting rid of Hagrid. Hagrid's going to wizard jail, which is fucked. Like, I don't remember that happening in the movie at all. I'm actually kind of surprised at how much I've forgotten about the first two movies. I thought I knew, like, the whole plot. There's actually a lot of random shit that has popped up that I don't remember. Okay, but here's the thing. They're getting rid of Dumbledore as well. Like, why? If the school is getting attacked, why would you get rid of the headmaster? Their excuse is because, like, oh, well, Dumbledore, this is too many attacks. You obviously can't stop them, so you're gonna have to step aside. Okay, fair enough, but, like, how is that gonna fucking help anyone? Sure, yeah, he hasn't been able to stop the attacks, but what good is it gonna do to get rid of him? Seriously, getting rid of Dumbledore is just so dumb. Bulldog. Sorry, I couldn't help. Getting rid of Dumbledore is just the least intelligent decision they could possibly make. How is that considered a solution at all? I think it's Lucius Malfoy. It's just a fuckwit. Okay, so they go into the Dark Forest to go see Aragog, the massive spider, and they take the invisibility cloak with them to get out of bed and down into Hagrid's house. But then they just leave the invisibility cloak at Hagrid's house when they go to the forest. They decide to leave the invisibility cloak at Hagrid's house. There would be no need for it in the Dark Forest. Are you serious? You really don't think taking an invisibility cloak into the Forbidden Forest would be useful at all? I don't know, there's like a bunch of creatures in there that could try to kill you. Being able to make yourself invisible wouldn't come in handy at all, you don't think? I know on the one hand you wouldn't want to lose something like an invisibility cloak in a place like the Forbidden Forest. I get that, but like, they wouldn't need it. I mean, they might. So I just got home from work, so I'm just gonna read for the rest of the day and try to finish this tonight. You know what's really crazy to think about? Harry and Ron were literally on their way to go see Moaning Myrtle in the bathroom, and then they got stopped by McGonagall, and they had to make up some excuse that they were off to see Hermione, and so then they had to go see Hermione instead. And in that time, that's when Ginny Weasley was taken. The timing is just crazy. If they hadn't have been stopped by McGonagall, that could have been Harry and Ron that were taken. That's so fucked. How the fuck was Harry able to open the Chamber of Secrets? Does that mean he's the heir of Slytherin? No, he can't be. No, because he didn't open the chamber the first time. No. Who the fuck is the heir? Half knowing the plot and half not knowing the plot at the same time has just like fucked with my head so much because I think I know what's happening and then I don't know what's happening. I am glad that this is the last book that I remember though, so I'm not gonna have this like internal struggle with the rest of the series. So if Harry's not the heir of Slytherin, how the fuck was he able to open the Chamber of Secrets? It says that only the heir can open it, so it's obviously not just like the heir of Slytherin, because anyone that can speak Parseltongue must just be able to open the Chamber of Secrets. You know? Enemies of the heir, beware. More like enemies of anyone that can speak fucking Parseltongue, because apparently that's all it takes. Alright, so I must have completely forgotten about the whole Tom Riddle living through the diary thing, and him opening the Chamber of Secrets through the diary, because I honestly thought the twist was that it was Harry. You know, that's why I thought Harry was the heir, because he opens the Chamber of Secrets at the end, but he's not actually the heir. He's just able to open the Chamber of Secrets. I thought I knew all the twists in Chamber of Secrets, and I actually have no fucking idea, so there you go. I have a theory. Okay, Voldemort is saying he's related to Salazar Slytherin on his mum's side, which means he's the heir of Slytherin, obviously. So obviously he was sorted into Slytherin, and I think Harry was almost sorted into Slytherin too, because you know how I said before when he was a baby and Voldemort gave him the scar? You know how I said that Voldemort's powers transferred into Harry when he gave him that scar because it's like a dark mark, and that's why he has these like dark abilities like speaking Parseltongue. I think the Sorting Hat picked up on or like sensed the heir of Slytherin's powers ability, I don't fucking know, powers, yeah, in Harry, and so it got confused and it thought Harry was the heir of Slytherin or related to Salazar Slytherin, so it was like trying to put him in Slytherin, but he's definitely not meant to be in Slytherin because he's a Gryffindor. Theories. I don't know if that ever gets confirmed, but like, that's totally fucking why. I just still can't get over the fact that these 12-year-old kids not only found out where the Chamber of Secrets is and found out how to open it after only knowing about it for like half a year. They've been at wizarding school for not even 2 years and they figure all this shit out when
professors at the school haven't been able to do it. Tom Riddle himself, the actual heir of Slytherin, took 5 years to find out how to open the Chamber of Secrets. 5 years. Took the heir of Slytherin 5 years, and then it takes Harry and Ron like half a year as 12-year-olds. The professors have known about it for like decades, and none of them have been able to find it, and Harry and Ron find it and open it and kill the monster that's inside of it. I swear if this series doesn't build up towards being the origin story of Harry Potter and he ends up being like this insanely famous wizard and who's just accomplished so much in his life and is just like the greatest wizard that ever lived. This is like when you hear about really famous people that have accomplished so much with their life, but they like excelled at life from a young age, like they were just prodigies, you know, and they've just like been amazing since they were young. That kind of situation. Because if it doesn't end up being that kind of situation, I don't think I can accept it any other way, because the story is just so fucking ridiculous. Really, like, I know this sounds like I'm low-key hating, but it's so far-fetched and, like, so ridiculous. Like, really, when you think about it, like, what? That's the only scenario where it would make sense, is if he turns out to be one of those greatest wizards of all time and, like, he's just been amazing since day one. I can't accept it any other way. I don't know. I just finished the book. Lucius Malfoy. What a fucking asshole. He's basically the guy behind the whole thing. He planted the diary in Ginny Weasley's cauldron at the beginning of the fucking book. He basically set the whole thing up because he has a grudge against Arthur Weasley. Why does he hate the Weasleys so much? That just makes no sense. He did it because how bad would it look if Arthur Weasley's daughter is found killing muggles and like he's in charge of the muggle department at the Ministry of Magic. And I'm seriously starting to doubt that this is all because pure bloods are better and the Malfoy family hate the Weasley family just because they associate with muggles. Surely not. Like, no one would do that just because someone associates with muggles. That's just fucking psychotic. I mean, I have no idea why, but I know there is something more to this. There has got to be some other reason that Malfoy hates the Weasleys, because that just makes no sense. But yeah, I finished it, so those are all my thoughts. I don't know if I could tell you which book I prefer, the first one or the second one. I think they were good in different ways. I hope you enjoy the way I'm deciding to do these videos. A lot of you have said that you really liked the way I did the first one, so I think I'm gonna try and continue this theme of like half sit down review, half initial thoughts on the book, like through vlog clips. I'm really excited now. The next book I get to read is The Prisoner of Azkaban. I am quite fucking excited to read Prisoner of Azkaban, not gonna lie. That's one of the books that I have no fucking knowledge about at all. The next video should be interesting, so yeah, I'm excited. We're getting into the books now where I don't know much about what happens. Just had to get past those first two, and now we're into the shit that I have no idea about. Yeah, excited. I just finished reading the third book in the series, Prisoner of Azkaban. As you know by now, I have been splitting these videos into two, kind of. I have been vlogging my experience reading each book so that I've been able to capture my initial thoughts while reading it on film. Does that make sense? So I have compiled all that footage and I'll play it for you in a minute. You can skip to this time if you just want to watch that first. I was so excited to read this one in particular because this is one of the books in the series that I had absolutely no prior knowledge to before starting to read the books. With the first two, I'd already seen the movies as a child and I like knew what was gonna happen in them. This one, I had no idea. I didn't know who the antagonists were gonna be in this story. I didn't know how the plot was gonna unfold. I didn't know any of the plot twists, and everything caught me off guard because I just had no fucking clue. And I think it could be for that reason that I've enjoyed this one the most. I would definitely say that out of the three that I've read so far, this one is like 100% my favorite. See, it's really funny because I know in my last video I said that Chamber of Secrets felt like it was a little bit darker than the first one, but this one, compared to the first two, is so much darker. The vibe of this book was so much different. Looking back at all of my vlog footage, I couldn't help but laugh at myself. Some of my theories were so frustratingly similar to what actually ended up happening. It's like I had it all figured out, but I also had no fucking clue at the same time. I really liked all the new information we got about the death of Harry's parents. We learned so much about it in this book, I feel. I mean, I still don't know why his parents were murdered, but now I know how Voldemort found them. It was because Peter Pettigrew ratted them out.
get it because he is a rat. We did learn a whole lot about that. We learned about James Potter's friendship group at Hogwarts, how he was friends with Sirius Black, Remus Lupin, Peter Pettigrew, and like they were a little group and they fucking turned into animals. Also, in this book I found out what like Dementors are and what they do, and also what Patronuses actually are and what the point of them is. Another thing that was really good about this book, Quidditch. Quidditch is so fucking good in this book. Oh my god, and you know what? I'll talk about the movie in a sec because I did watch the movie after watching this and I am so let down. Like the only Quidditch scene there is like some shitty like lightning storm. Oh, it did Quidditch so dirty. It was so good in the book. This is the book where they go back in time. I knew it was coming. That was one of the things that I said in my first video of all the things that I previously knew about the Harry Potter series. One of the things that I knew that was going to come up at some point was them going back in time. And they use that necklace. That's what the necklace is. I've seen that everywhere and it's like a little hourglass. The whole subplot with Buckbeak, I feel like that was so much more profound in the book and it was a lot sadder in the book when Buckbeak died. I genuinely was under the impression that Buckbeak died. I feel like all of the Buckbeak scenes, I was more invested in what was happening with Buckbeak through the book because it was more like prevalent. In the movie, they just kind of glossed over it and like you don't really care that much about him in the movie. I feel like in the movie, a lot of things were just glossed over, which made them seem like less significant. But in the book, everything is fleshed out so well that you are like seriously invested in what's happening. All the subplots and all the characters, you just care a whole lot more. And I know it's like a thing, like the book is always better. And they had to cut a whole bunch of shit out with the movie to save time. I understand that. But like, you just don't get the same experience. Lupin's character, you know what's so dumb? I didn't catch on to that until they literally said, he's a werewolf. Here's the thing about Lupin being a werewolf. In the movie, it's kind of made really obvious that Lupin's a werewolf. And you're able to just figure it out like straight away. However, in the book, they're really vague about all the little details that kind of clue you in on him being a werewolf. You know how Lupin's Bogart is a moon? In the movie, it's like so obviously a moon, there's like clouds floating around it. In the book, it's described as a silver orb. I don't know, for some reason, silver orb didn't equate to a moon in my head because I feel like that's not super obvious. And then with the whole like Lupin being sick, I was more focused on the fact that Snape was poisoning him. I don't know why I didn't catch on to that. I was just so preoccupied with other shit that was going on and my stupid fucking theory about the cat, which you'll understand what I'm talking about in a minute. One thing that I really appreciate about this book, all of the character development and especially the development of Harry, Ron, and Hermione's friendship. It's kind of tested in this book. In the first two, there weren't really any like serious arguments or any fights that they had. In this one, there was like this rivalry between Hermione and Ron. And I feel like that's an accurate portrayal of early teen friendships. You fight with your friends over stupid ass shit, which is what they did in this book. It was quite realistic in that sense. One thing in particular I've noticed is Ron. Ron is really protective of his friends, and I feel like you see that the most in this book. I also love how, you know, if anyone tries to cross them, like whether it be Harry or Hermione or even Hagrid, Ron is so quick to jump to their defense, and he doesn't give a fuck like if he's gonna face punishment for it or if he'll get in trouble himself. It's like his instinct to just defend his friends, as well as the world building. As always, the world building in these Harry Potter books is my favorite thing. The world building is just done so well in this series. It's explained so well, it's really interesting. It's just my favorite thing. I think that's just going to be my favorite thing about Harry Potter. Yeah, I think that's probably all I'm going to say in this part of the video because I did get a lot of footage this time reading the book. I do want to quickly touch on the movie. Yeah, I think my main dislike for the movie came from they made a couple changes in the movie that just didn't make sense. Lupin's potion thing is like never explained. So at the end when Sirius comes out and he's like, Lupin, you haven't taken your potion yet. And it's like, how the fuck would you know that he has to take his potion? You've been in Azkaban this whole time. You haven't been able to speak to Lupin and the potion was invented while he was in Azkaban, so there's literally no way he would know about it. So I actually laughed at that scene because it actually doesn't add up at all. Okay, two things that just never get explained at all. James Potter and his friends being the Marauders. The other three turn themselves into animaguses because Lupin is a werewolf, so that they can like change with him. That's never addressed, so it doesn't even make sense why they just randomly become animals. You're kind of like, cool, they're secretly animals, but like, why? Oh my god, the whole scene where he's like, oh, I saw my dad, and then it ends up being the Patronus, that, you never get to make that connection with like the stag, him seeing his dad in the stag. Yeah, I feel like they were really important details that for some reason they just didn't put in the movie, and I don't understand why. That's pretty much what I thought of Prisoner of Azkaban overall. I really liked it. It felt a whole lot darker than the first two, and I feel like the series is just going to get more and more. I'm starting to understand why people say the series gets darker as you go on. Yeah, so without further ado, here is all of the compiled footage of me reading the book in real time, with all of my initial reactions and thoughts. So I'll play that for you now.
Every book we open with the Dursleys, and every book I want to, like, die. Well, they're on the train. You know the sneakoscope? That device that tells you when there's someone around you being untrustworthy or deceiving you? Well, they're in that carriage with that new teacher, right, who's asleep. On his briefcase it says R.J. Lupin. The sneakoscope has begun spinning. So obviously this new teacher is going to be fucking evil. Is this going to be a thing? Every book they get a new Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher, and every time they turn out to be evil. I think today I'm just gonna sit around and read more of this. About what I've read so far though, Hermione is doing like all these extra classes. I don't know, there's like something shady going on with this. She's talking about how her arithmancy class is so much better than divination, but like she hasn't been to arithmancy class yet. I don't know, I feel like there's something sus with that. She was reading her arithmancy book, she had it like propped open on the table. Unless she's able to be in 2 different places at once. I've already got a theory. I'm thinking there's something up with her arithmancy textbook. Maybe this is like some 2nd generation Tom Riddle diary bullshit where it's like the diary's open. You know what I mean? She had her diary open like that. Unless she's able to like do that thing where, you know what I mean? Like you just open it. Maybe all the information just like soaked into her head by magic or something, you know? And it's like Tom Riddle's diary except a textbook. Gets sucked into the book. Able to attend class that way. Am I onto something? Probably not. That whole scene in divination with the Grim, Harry sees the Grim and it's like a death omen. I feel like there's just a whole bunch of foreshadowing going on right now, but it's like really obvious. Quite obvious that Sirius Black is after Harry. And then he saw that dog at the beginning of the book, and then that book in the bookshop where it has that picture of the dog on the cover and it's called Death Omens. If this fly will not chill. And now he gets the Grim and Professor Trelawney's like, oh, that's a death omen. The foreshadowing. Can I just like rant about how much I fucking hate Malfoy right now? Hagrid gets to work as the Care of Magical Creatures teacher. Perfect job for Hagrid, by the way. Fucking Malfoy just has to ruin it. He gets cut by the hippogriff, right? This bird horse. But it's his own fault. And then he's like carrying on like a little bitch, trying to get Hagrid into trouble and trying to get him fired. He like comes into class with a sling. Like, mate, you were cut by a bird. Thing that is so annoying. Him and his friends were so quick to jump on Harry for fainting after seeing that Dementor. But like, he gets cut by a bird and then he has his arm in a sling and he's carrying on like an absolute bitch. Where do you get off? How can you make fun of someone fainting after a Dementor like tries to suck the life out of them, but then get scratched by a bird and like now you're out of business for a month? Like, but that's not embarrassing. Are you for real? So I just found out Sirius Black killed all those people 12 years ago. Harry's 13 in this book. Weren't his parents killed when he was a little baby? Around 1 year old? Sirius Black is so connected to that. I'm so calling it right now. Just watch. That's why he's out of jail. That's why he's trying to kill Harry now. Fuck it, 12 years ago. I'm so onto this book. They just found the slashed photo of the fat lady. Peeves appears and he's like, he got really angry when she wouldn't let him in, you see. Nasty temper he's got, Sirius Black. Sirius Black is in Hogwarts. How the fuck did he get in? How is he so good at outsmarting these Azkaban guards? How did he do it? I want to know. Oh my god, this class with Snape is escalating. Snape goes, oh, what's the difference between a real wolf and a werewolf? Hermione raises her hand and Snape's like, wow, no one can tell me the answer. Lupin's such an incompetent teacher. Lupin hasn't even taught you this. He's so bad at his job. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, you skip to the back of the book, dude. Clearly no one is gonna have any clue because they're not supposed to learn it yet. Then when Hermione answers his question, 5 points from Gryffindor for being an insufferable know-it-all. Ron stands up And he's like to Snape, you asked us a question and she knows the answer. Why ask if you don't want to be told? This is a completely random thought out of nowhere. And if this ends up being the twist, I will like fucking jump off a building or some shit because I am a fucking psychic then. Why do I feel like the twist is gonna be something like Sirius Black morphed into Crookshanks and Crookshanks, Hermione's cat, is Sirius Black in disguise? I bet you the twist will be some bullshit like that. Honestly, just for the fuck of it, I'm gonna feed into my Crookshanks theory some more. Because why not? Sirius Black avoided being caught after he broke out of jail because he morphed into a cat. You know, and then he went into that pet store hoping he would get bought by a student going to Hogwarts. Like, that's how he could get in there and get to Harry. Oh my god, and that's why the Dementors went into the carriage that Harry was in. Because Crookshanks was in there and it sensed Sirius Black. Oh my god, and like, that's why the sneakoscope was spinning. Because Crookshanks in disguise. I figured it out! And that's how he got into the castle. And obviously no one's been able to detect him inside the castle because he's been a cat the whole time. The Dementors can't get into the school grounds. I think I figured it out. Holy shit, I'm onto something right now, aren't I? I have this Harry Potter series all figured out, bitch. If this doesn't end up being the twist, Sirius Black is Crookshanks. Like, there is no fucking doubt in my mind. Come on. It just makes sense. Why is Harry the only one that is affected by the Dementors? They keep going after Harry. And why is he affected by them so severely? Is it to do with the scar? It's gotta be something to do with the scar, doesn't it? I still stand by my theory from the last video. Like, there's some, I don't know, residue of Voldemort's powers or something like left in the scar when he gave it to Harry. Maybe that's drawing the Dementors to Harry. He transferred his ability to speak to snakes to Harry, so obviously there is some part of Voldemort's powers in Harry. In the scar, probably, like left over. I think that's probably why the Dementors keep going for Harry and why he's affected by them, because they sense like dark magic in him and that's why they go for him. James Potter and Sirius Black were best friends at school. He was Harry's godfather. So Sirius Black was their secret giver. So he was like full-on best friends with James Potter. Wow, he just betrayed them. Wow, what a fucking dog. He just like betrayed them. They trusted him as their secret keeper and he was like their best friend for years and then he just was secretly working with Voldemort this whole time. What a traitor, holy shit. They're in the Three Broomsticks, by the way, like that pub, and Harry, Ron and Hermione are overhearing this conversation that the teachers are all having. They're just like going into all this backstory behind Sirius Black. That's what killed those people. I fucking knew it. 12 years ago, Sirius Black went to prison 12 years ago. It was on the same night. That's fucked. Harry just got gifted a firebolt broomstick. That goddamn sneakoscope going off again. Every time the sneakoscope goes off and starts spinning, Harry, Ron and Hermione just ignore it. They just like completely disregard it. The whole point of it is to tell you when someone's being deceptive. They just disregard it every time. They're like, oh, bloody sneakoscope. Like, just, I don't know why it just spins randomly. It's like, what? What do you mean? You've just been gifted a broom, like an amazing broom for no reason. There's no return address on it. There's no sender name. And then the sneakoscope starts spinning. Like, wouldn't you just think, maybe there's something up with this? You know what, actually? I reckon we've been set up. I think this is all an elaborate ploy and we're supposed to think that the sneakoscope is spinning because the broomstick has been tampered with. But the real reason the sneakoscope is going off, because Crookshanks is in the room. I'm not gonna let this go. The Crookshanks theory, it's back. Okay, so they're gonna go get the broom checked out to see if it's jinxed. And Harry and Ron are mad about it. Like, why? Why would you want to ride this broomstick around when it's possibly cursed? If someone gave me a free, amazing broomstick, like professional level for free, and they didn't write a sender name on it or anything, I don't know, I'd probably be suspicious of it. I wouldn't just be like, cool, and then just start riding it around and then die. I look like a mum. Yeah, I'm aware I look like someone's mum right now, but it's only just clicked now. Lupin's Boggart is a silver orb. I don't know why I didn't catch on to that before. I didn't realize that when he jumped in the way of it, it turned into his Boggart. I thought it just turned into someone else's random, like someone else's fear was a silver orb or something like that, but I've only just realized after I can't get over how much I look like a mum. Silver orb. I don't know. I feel like that's kind of weird. I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's just like some kind of magic device or something like that. Also, Lupin is like kind of shady. Hermione smacking Malfoy is like my favorite thing. I don't know what has gotten into Hermione in this book, but I like it. She just storms out of Trelawney's class because she's not having it. And now she's just smacks Malfoy across the face. She's just taking no shit this year.
I'm just gonna say, Lee Jordan is probably one of my favorite background characters in this entire series. I think he's friends with Fred and George, I think. He's the Quidditch commentator. He's just a pisser. He's so funny. I love him.
Quidditch has been so good in this book.
I lost my glasses, so my eyes are like fucked, but the scene I'm reading is so intense that I don't want to stop. Okay, basically what's been happening, let me just fill you all in. Buckbeak got executed. Then they're running away. Scabbers is being difficult. Jumps out of Ron's hands and runs away. Ron chases him, runs into the Whomping Willow. Then they get attacked by a fucking dog. Drags Ron into the Whomping Willow. They end up in the Shrieking Shack, which is obviously where Sirius Black has been living. I'm honestly devastated that my Crookshanks theory was wrong. Don't talk to me about it. I mean, he's like allies with Sirius Black, so he's still untrustworthy. He's evil by default. Then Lupin comes bursting into the room, and then he takes the wands out of Harry and Hermione's hands, disarming them because they were in a position to kill Sirius Black. And this is where I'm up to now. Yeah, Lupin comes in, and he looks at Sirius, and he goes, "Where is he, Sirius? What do you mean? Why are you on a first name basis? Is he evil?" Another Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher that turns out to be the bad guy. I thought he was helping us. I thought he was on our side. Yeah, anyway, yeah, that's where I'm up to now. I'm just gonna do what I did before and just keep reading because I feel like some shit's about to go down. He hugged Sirius Black! He's evil! He's a werewolf. That makes so much sense. Of course he's a fucking werewolf. I feel like an idiot. How did I not get that before? He looks disheveled all the time, and he wears raggedy clothes that are ripped. He always gets sick randomly, like once a month on a full moon. His Bogart is a moon, isn't it? A floating silver orb. That's a moon. That's a moon. Oh, dude, that's why Snape taught them about werewolves when he took over for Lupin, because he was trying to get them to learn the difference between real wolves and werewolves, you know, and like with a focus on how to detect the difference. He was trying to get them to pick up on. Oh wow. He assigned that essay hoping someone would realize what my symptoms meant. If he assigned that essay hoping someone would figure it out, how come he was so salty that she was being a know-it-all? Remember how he called her an insufferable know-it-all, took points off her house and everything? Mate, you were trying to get someone to figure out that he was a werewolf. Like, wouldn't you want Hermione to be a know-it-all and figure it out? That man doesn't make any sense, honestly. He wrote the Marauders map? He helped make the Marauders map. Lupin is saying that he was watching them come back from being at Hagrid's after Buckbeak got executed. He goes, 20 minutes later you left Hagrid and set off back toward the castle, but now you were accompanied by somebody else. I thought the map must be malfunctioning. How could he be with you? Who the fuck? Then I saw another dot moving fast towards you labeled Sirius Black. Listen to this, okay? I saw him collide with you. I watched as he pulled two of you into the Whomping Willow. And Ron goes, one of us. And Lupin says, no, Ron, two of you. Dude, no. Crookshanks theory, except Scabbers. Someone transformed into Scabbers. Am I right? That's not a rat. He's a wizard. I knew it! An animagus by the name of Peter Pettigrew. What the fuck?
I think I'm gonna take a break from reading because I'm getting like way too into it. I'm stressed. This book is stressing me. This series is stressing me.
So I'm up to chapter 18. Let's just keep going. My eyes really hurt. I need to get my glasses back. We've got to explain. They're working together. Lupin is working with Sirius Black. Wait, I don't understand what is going on. I'm still so confused. Ron kept him as a pet. If he is some other kind of wizard in disguise, if he is Peter Pettigrew in disguise, has he been Peter Pettigrew the whole time? Oh, that's fucked if he's been keeping him as a pet for 12 years. There used to be 3 unregistered animaguses running around Hogwarts. So does being a werewolf count as being an animagus? Because you turn into a wolf? If they're not the same thing, then who is the third one? Sirius Pettigrew. Wait, so he couldn't be an animagus as a werewolf because he doesn't have control over himself when he's a wolf, but Sirius did. So who's the third one? James Potter is the third one. He turns into an animal as well. Oh, so they all wrote the Marauders map. They were like a friendship group at Hogwarts. They were like a group of friends. Wait, is this why Snape doesn't like Harry? He especially disliked James. Jealous, I think, of James's talent on the Quidditch field. Is that seriously why Snape hates Harry and hates his dad? This is really interesting, learning like all this history. Wait. Snape was in the room the whole time! Wow, fuck off. Snape put on the invisibility cloak and followed them in. How long has he been there? Okay, I just want to say one thing super quick. I don't know why they decided to let Peter Pettigrew go and they're gonna like send him to Azkaban. That doesn't seem like the smartest decision to me. When you think about it, we've just found out how Sirius Black got out of Azkaban. Like he transformed into his animal self and then that's how he was able to get past the guards. Peter Pettigrew was in the room the whole time. He would have overheard it. He's essentially just told Peter Pettigrew how to break out of Azkaban if he ever went there. Because he's an animagus as well. If they just let him go to Azkaban, he's just gonna know how to escape. They should have just killed him on the spot. What the fuck just happened? 1 second it was all happy days. Harry's godfather escaped out of prison and now he's gonna get to go live with them and he's not gonna have to live with the Dursleys anymore. And then Lupin transforms. Everyone's trying to fight him. He runs away. Sirius runs off. I don't know if Sirius is dead or not now. Rat Boy got away. Snape is just floating in the air, like unconscious. How did everything just take such a turn? What is this ending so far? It went from like, Lupin's evil to, oh wait, no, they're good guys. The rat is evil, like plot twist again. We don't have to live with the Dursleys anymore, yay. And then plot twist again. Never mind. Pretty sure everyone's dead. How does that happen? I don't even know what to say. I'm gonna stop reading now. So I finished the book last night. I really liked that time turner scene. It was really cool. Like the things that they did influenced earlier events in the book. I don't know. That whole concept was like really interesting though. I like that. It was really cool and really well executed. One thing that I just had to pull out my camera and like talk about right away, because it just dawned on me right now that this was never addressed again. Sirius Black. If he's supposed to be this good guy after all and like he wasn't trying to kill Harry this whole time, blah, blah, blah. One thing that was never addressed, even in that whole conclusion, I was waiting to see if this was going to be addressed, even in his letter at the end. But it never was. Why did Sirius Black have that knife? You know that scene where he's standing over Ron at nighttime with that fucking knife? It never gets mentioned again. There's no explanation behind it. If he was supposed to be good this whole time, why? I don't know if that was like a dream, but it wasn't a dream because I don't know if this gets explained later on. You know what? And it probably never will be addressed in later books. Well, there you go. That was me reading Prisoner of Azkaban for the first time. Definitely my favorite of the series so far. I just finished Goblet of Fire. Not gonna lie, I was kind of scared of this one. So just some background knowledge on how much I actually knew about Goblet of Fire before reading the book, which really isn't that much. But I did watch the movie one time years and years ago. So I had a really vague idea of what goes down in this book. Really, the only things I remembered were there was a Triwizard tournament, Harry's name gets called out of the Goblet of Fire. I knew the 3 challenges were something to do with dragons, being underwater, and a maze. If you remember my Philosopher's Stone video, I said that someone's secretly a shark. Victor Crumb transfiguring himself into a shark to get past that challenge. I had no fucking clue what I was talking about, and I was like 300% wrong. It's Victor Crumb transfiguring himself, and I laughed so hard when I got to that part. That's pretty much everything I knew about Goblet of Fire going into it. By the way, if you haven't read Harry Potter either, just don't watch these videos, man. You're gonna get spoiled. There's no spoiler warning. I'm just gonna
Spoil. Read the books first, then watch my video. Cool. But yes, the death at the end. So that's pretty much what I knew about it. I can tell this series is gonna take a turn. I feel like this book is probably that turning point. After reading the ending, I feel like the next books are just gonna get really political and really focus more on like the Ministry of Magic probably being a little bit corrupt. Got a bit of a bad vibe from Fudge at the end, you know what I mean? With the whole destroying all the evidence they had kind of vibe. Even in this book, the vibe was completely different to the first three. One thing, well, there's a lot of things I liked about this book, but one of the things in particular was, I guess you could say, the extended world building. Well, there's a bigger focus on the Ministry, first of all, which is one of the things that I have been really fascinated by. I'm gonna sound like a broken record here, but the world building is my favorite part of the series. It's so well done, I just love it. In Goblet of Fire, Ron's jealousy of Harry is quite, prevalent. But the thing is, it's like understandable. This kid, Ron, has spent his whole life living in the shadows of his older brothers. His older brothers have all been really successful, top of their class, prefect, head boy, Quidditch captain. Ron doesn't really have his own thing. He never really gets his own moment to shine. And then he comes to school, and then his best friend at school, Harry, is the boy who lived, famous, is really talented at Quidditch, does all this cool shit, fights off all these cool people. Like, Harry's always in the spotlight. And then his other friend, Hermione's top of her class, really smart. When Harry's name gets picked out of the goblet and Ron's like salty, I don't know, I feel like it's understandable, and I think it adds a lot more depth to his character. Because I think if a kid like that, if their whole life they've just lived in everyone's shadows and they don't have their own sense of accomplishment with really anything, they never really measure up to the people around them, I feel like it would be quite unrealistic for them to just never snap and never hit a breaking point where they're like, fuck this, how come everyone else always gets the glory? A few other things I want to quickly talk about. The whole Yule Ball and Harry and Ron putting off till the very last minute getting dates. And that's actually something that I noticed a lot. Harry putting things off till the very last minute to his detriment. He puts off asking Cho, and then when he actually does ask her, she's already said yes to someone else. And she would have said yes if he'd just asked her earlier. So I don't know, that was like a whole thing. Actually, you know what? The Yule Ball in general, I have something to say. Harry and Ron treat their dates so badly, the Patil sisters. First of all, they ask them as a last resort, which is like, wow, okay. They get there and they don't want to dance with them. Ron especially. Ron doesn't want to dance with, fuck, what was her name? The other Patil sister, not Pavati, the other one. He's sulking over Hermione and Crumb the whole time. And the chick's just like, are we gonna dance or what? Like, be a sook on your own accord. Don't ruin these other girls' night. Yeah, spew. That whole house elf subplot wasn't even in the movie. I was looking forward to seeing that in the movie and it just wasn't there. I'm sad. Now, one thing that I want to fucking talk about. This just smells like a plot hole to me. You guys have been really good about explaining things in the comment section without spoiling me, so thank you for that. Like with Sirius and the Knife and Peter Pettigrew, and also with how the Dursleys were sent mail. If you can shed some light on this, I'd appreciate it. But this is one thing that I noticed when reading the book, and I wrote it down and everything because I was like, this doesn't make fucking sense. None of this adds up. This is about Bartamius Crouch Jr. and that whole breaking out of Azkaban bullshit with the mum. This wasn't explained in the movie, so you will have had to have read the book to understand what I'm talking about or to even help me out here. Basically, Barty Crouch Jr. goes to Azkaban. The mother is dying, and her dying wish, I guess, is for her son to be released out of Azkaban. What they end up doing is Mr. Crouch and his wife go to Azkaban to visit Barty Crouch Jr. And what they were gonna do is she was gonna take Polyjuice Potion, Barty Crouch Jr. was gonna take Polyjuice Potion, and they were gonna swap. Mr. Crouch and his son were gonna leave Azkaban with him looking like the mum. That was the whole genius plan. And this really comes down to like Polyjuice in general, how that whole thing works. The thing was, I wasn't really sure if Polyjuice Potion full on turns you into that person. If they're sick, you become sick kind of thing. The Dementors couldn't tell and didn't notice anything because they can't see and they only sense, but they sensed one healthy person, one sick person entering Azkaban, and one healthy person, one sick person leaving Azkaban. Which means when he took the potion and became his mum, he took on her sickness. So when the mum changed into him, she became healthy, wouldn't she? Right? You with me? You're understanding? So what I don't understand is they said the way they kept it up was the mum kept taking Polyjuice Potion until she died in prison to keep up the illusion that Barty Crouch Jr. was still in Azkaban, right? But I don't understand how she could have still died in jail due to sickness. It said she lived out her dying days in Azkaban disguised as Barty Crouch Jr., so it looked like he died in jail. But why would she have died in jail if she wasn't sick anymore? Unless I'm missing something key here, I'm just saying, if she transformed into a healthy person and she stayed in that state the whole time because she kept taking Polyjuice Potion continuously, she would have been healthy and she wouldn't have been dying. So it doesn't make sense for her to die in prison due to her sickness because she wouldn't have been sick anymore. That is basically what I'm trying to say. I hope that makes sense. And if it weren't for the fact that they said it sensed a healthy person and a sick person leaving, which indicates that when you take the potion, you take on that person's illnesses as well. If it gets explained in a later book or something like that, don't spoil me, just say like it's explained later. I don't know. I feel like most normal people wouldn't look into it that deeply and I'm just like nitpicking as fuck. But yeah, that's where I'm gonna end this section. Like always, I've vlogged my experience reading the book. So without further ado, I will play that all for you right now. Okay, so just started. I like this World Cup. Sometimes I just forget that it's not just like a secret society of wizards in England. It's all over the world, bitch. We're global. I think in the earlier books, I thought Mr. Malfoy hated the Weasleys for some specific reason. I thought there was like history between them or something, but I think honestly now it's just simply hating the Weasleys because they associate with Muggle-born wizards. He can go off as much as he wants about pure blood being the best kind of blood, but honestly, at the end of the day, they're all each other's cousins, so I'm just saying. There's only so many pure blood wizard families. You don't have to be a pure blood to be a great wizard. Like, look at Voldemort. Voldemort was a great wizard. He was a half-blood, and you see the way Lucius Malfoy licks his ass. Hi, just gonna update you on how I've been going. World Cup's over. The Dark Mark, someone conjured it up. What happened? Crouch's elf, Winky, the elf that was in the top box, she was sitting in the top box reserving Mr. Crouch's seat, and they never even showed up. Rude. She was found in the forest with a wand directly below the Dark Mark. Take the wand off her and it turns out to be Harry's wand. And then they do like a test on it and they see that the last spell that it performed was creating that Dark Mark. You don't know whether it's Winky or not. It just kind of looks suspicious. We're back at the Burrow. They're getting ready to go back to Hogwarts. Mrs. Weasley went shopping for all of their school shit while they were at the World Cup. Look, here's the stuff Mum got for you in Diagon Alley. And she got some gold out of your vault for you. I'm sorry, but how the fuck did she get gold out of Harry's vault? Surely you shouldn't just be able to get gold out of anyone's vault without them being there, without them giving you permission. I feel like it should be a much harder process than just rock up at the bank. Hi, I want to access Harry Potter's vault, thanks. This Mad-Eye Moody character is interesting. I like his vibe, you know? The way this guy shows up at Hogwarts is iconic. He's supposed to be the new Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher. He just rocks up late, sits at his chair and just pulls out a flask and starts drinking. I love his vibe. He's just like, I don't give a fuck anymore. Moody's not even staying. This is what, the 4th teacher that's left them now? I actually feel like this is gonna be a running gag with this series. Like every book they just get a new Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher. So the students from the other schools, Beauxbatons and Durmstrang, have just arrived. We're meeting them and like meeting the headmasters and stuff. So now they're interrogating Harry in that back room. The other schools are pissed off. How come Hogwarts gets 2 champions and we only get 1? Like, that's not fair. We should get an extra champion. And Moody comes in saying, well, maybe someone's put Harry's name in there hoping he would get picked and like killed in the tournament, you know what I mean, because it's dangerous. He's basically saying that a really powerful witch or wizard must have done it to be able to hoodwink a really powerful magic object, making the Goblet of Fire think that there's 4 champions that compete in the Triwizard tournament instead of just 3. That's why it was able to put out a 4th name. He's saying maybe they submitted his name under a 4th school and he'd be the only student from that school to put his name in, so he'd be guaranteed to get picked. So I don't know. I don't know who would have done it. I don't know. Part of me thinks it could be Moody. He just seems to know an awful lot about this. It's just happened and he's immediately come up with this like elaborate theory. He is a powerful wizard. He like used to be the top of his field, I think. But then again, he's a trusted friend of Dumbledore, so it doesn't really make sense like why he would. Oh my god, I can't deal with all these kids just being so salty. They're all pissed off because Harry got picked. And Ron. I mean, I kind of understand Ron though. I get why everyone's pissed off, but it's just like, shut up. I feel bad for Harry. Everyone's turned against him. Also, Rita Skeeter is a piece of work. The first challenge is dragons. I already knew this, obviously. But specifically, nesting dragons. I don't remember what they had to do for it, but Hagrid said they specifically wanted nesting mothers and that they don't have to fight them, they just have to get past them. So I feel like it's quite obvious that what they have to do is get past the nesting mother, steal an egg. So Ludo Bagman pulls Harry aside before the dragon challenge, right? He basically tells him that he needs any help. He's not opposed to giving Harry a few pointers. And Harry says to him, oh, nah, it's okay. Like, I already know what I'm gonna do. I've got a plan. This tournament, you can literally die in this tournament. If an organizer of the event was willing to give me information or tips or help or anything, I would just fucking take it. I don't even care if the help is useless. What do you mean, nah, I'm good? I just want to say a fat fuck off to Karkaroff. Who does this bitch think they are? Giving Harry a 4 out of 10 when everyone else gave him a 9 or a 10. Gave him a shit score because he knew if he gave him anything higher than a 4, his own student would be knocked out of first place. Can we just talk about how great Hermione is? Ron asks her to the ball as a last resort and she's like, fuck you, like I'm not a last resort, bitch, what the fuck? Turns up to the Yule Ball looking hot as fuck with Ron's idol. That is the way. One thing that I think is kind of weird. So Hagrid is a half giant and apparently that's like a big deal. I don't know, I thought it was common knowledge that Hagrid was a giant. Ron's like, what? I didn't know he was a half giant. Are you serious? They're like shocked. This is so stupid. Cedric literally tells him how to open the egg. He's like, yeah, this is how you open the egg. Just take it underwater. And Harry is trying all these weird other ways. Everything except taking Cedric's advice out of spite because of Cho. Are you fucked? Oh my god, wait guys, look at this. What the fuck? Fuck this Rita Skeeter woman. She's made Hagrid cry. Hagrid is like completely distraught over this stupid article of hers. It's all lies anyway. Calling him a vicious giant. How dare you come for Hagrid? Bitch! No! I hope she dies. So Snape's a Death Eater, right? Karkaroff was one of Voldemort's followers. Snape, him and Karkaroff, Harry and Ron overheard that conversation and they call each other Severus and Igor. J.K. Rowling made a point to put them on a first name basis. They know each other like that and he was a supporter of Voldemort, like, put 2 and 2 together. Can I just talk about that whole underwater sequence? Because it was Ron, Hermione, and Cho. I was under the impression for a sec the challenge was gonna make Harry pick which one of those people he was gonna save. Because they told him, like, you can only save one. And I thought they were gonna make him pick which friend he had to save. So I'm reading the Pensieve chapter. He's in Dumbledore's office right now, fucking around with his, I don't know, bowl of memories. It shows him some trials. He's looking back at these trials, right? And one of them, they're convicted of capturing and torturing an Auror, Frank Longbottom, using the Cruciator's Curse. That's Neville's dad. You never hear about Neville's parents. He lives with his grandma. Oh my god. And with the Cruciator's Curse as well. Remember that scene where Neville suggested the Cruciator's Curse in class and then he saw it being demonstrated on that spider? It really affected him. No wonder. That's so sad. Like, he would have had to see what his parents had to go through. Poor Neville. I'm up to that chapter, the 3rd task. I thought we were okay with Crumb now. I thought he was not good, but okay. And they're in the maze now, and he's used the Crucio Curse on Cedric. There was like this moment where Harry and Cedric were like united for a second. Cup turned out to be a portkey. I already know the big like plot twist that Cedric dies. Okay, you ready for this? I think what is going on, whoever put Harry's name in the Goblet of Fire fucked with the cup so that he'd end up in the graveyard and Voldemort would be there.
right? I feel like it might be Ludo Bagman. This whole time, he's been trying to make sure that Harry, like, wins these challenges. He's been offering him so much help and advice so that Harry would get to the cup. Voldemort can kill him. He's working with Voldemort the whole time. I think that might be the twist on top of the twist. I'm on page 651. He's talking to the Death Eaters. They've all, like, apparated around him. There's 6 missing Death Eaters. 3 of them are dead. 1 of them is too cowardly to return. 1 who has left him forever. 1 who remains his most faithful servant. Anyways, then it says he's at Hogwarts, that faithful servant. And it was through his efforts that our young friend arrived here tonight, talking about Harry, right? So, yeah, Bagman. I just read the Priori Incantatem chapter, and that whole chapter was a headfuck. But I don't understand how Expelliarmus and Avada Kedavra being said at the same time. Their 2 spells connect, and then it, like, turns into a golden beam of light, and then there's, like, a weird thing that, like, you know, and then it makes dead people come out of Voldemort's wand. Voldemort must be like a Disney villain that just secretly sucks. Because how is this all-powerful wizard like Voldemort, who's just been restored to his full powers and shit, how is this 14-year-old boy able to block his Avada Kedavra curse? Like, that's supposed to be the, like, one of the only curses without a counter curse. And how the fuck does Expelliarmus, how is Expelliarmus the counter curse for Avada Kedavra? Not only does he do that, outruns 30 Death Eaters and the Dark Lord, more like the incompetent Lord, because how are you this bad at being a villain? I'm sorry. I'm just gonna stop reading now. I think I'm done for today. Good morning. We're back at Hogwarts now, after that whole graveyard fiasco. I just lost my page. I'm so suspicious of everyone now. Harry's all, like, fucked up and delirious. Cornelius Fudge is adamant about taking him to the hospital wing, like, wanting to scoot him away. So I think I'm just gonna keep this camera going like I did last time. Ow. Let's read! So he's with Moody now, and he's explaining everything to him. Wow, fuck off. Moody was the one who put his name in the goblet. That's so fucked. What the hell? I was expecting it to be Ludo Bagman because he's been so sneaky about trying to get Harry to win. Even Fudge, like Fudge was acting a little bit weird at the end. Karkaroff, like literally anyone except Moody. He's friends with Dumbledore. He's like really old friends with Dumbledore. Listen to this. He's like, oh, did he forgive the Death Eaters? I wanted to know whether he forgave the scum who never even went to look for him. He's the one that fired the dark mark in the sky at the World Cup. Was he even there? He wasn't even there. I knew it. Oh my god, I knew it. I should have stuck with my original theory. You know how he came into the room and he like immediately knew, they must have submitted his name under a different school, this and that, blah blah blah, and he like knew immediately. I was right the whole time. He was one of the people that was patrolling the maze. Oh, true, because his eye, he can see through things. He could have looked through the maze and seen them. Oh my god, you know how he like showed the class how to do the Imperious Curse? He would have put the Imperious Curse on Crumb, taking out Fleur, getting rid of Crumb. He told Cedric to open it underwater, and he knew that he would pass it on to Harry because Harry had helped him in the past. He's just manipulated and used good people into helping Harry to alleviate suspicion that it was him. Okay, don't worry everyone, Dumbledore came. This is not Alistair Moody. You've never known Alistair Moody. The real Moody would not have removed you from my sight after what happened tonight. The moment he took you, I knew, and I followed. Bitch, there's been another plot twist! Okay, so if Alistair Moody isn't actually the last servant of Voldemort, it's still someone else. So who the fuck is it? He goes, Minerva, go down to Hagrid's house. You'll find a large black dog sitting in the pumpkin patch. Take the dog up to my office and tell him I'll be with him in a moment. Sirius is back. Okay, right now they're opening that trunk with like a million locks on it. Wow, so the real Mad-Eye Moody's locked in this fucking trunk. Okay, so this dude has kept the real Alistair Moody in this trunk, kept him there controlled by the Imperious Curse so that he can keep taking like DNA from him so that he can make polyjuice potion, and that's what he's been drinking in his flask. He's kept this dude in this box for a year. How has he stayed alive? Crouch. Buddy Crouch. Crouch died. The sun! Oh my god! That's so weird. Oh, true. Named after our fathers. Both killed our He killed his own dad? Wow, this whole time I thought Crouch, Mr. Crouch, was just like really morally bankrupt and fucked that he'd send his own son to Azkaban. He was guilty the whole time. J.K. Rowling is actually so good at distracting you from the twist. Like, I didn't see that coming at all, which is honestly fucked. Like, I've seen that movie, and I thought the twist was Voldemort being there at the end and Cedric dying. I was so distracted by all these subplots, like the spew movement and the Yule Ball and the tournament challenges. I was too preoccupied with these other subplots to put 2 and 2 together. You know how I thought it was ridiculous that Harry was able to counter the Avada Kedavra curse by just saying Expelliarmus? Basically, there's a thing called Priori Incantatem. You know how Harry's wand has a phoenix feather in it, and so does Voldemort's? So the wands are like brother wands, I guess. If 2 wands like that have the same core feather from the same bird try to go against each other, it won't work. That's what that beam of light was, and then when it went into Voldemort's wand, it just made it regurgitate the spells that Voldemort had done. And it turns out, how cute is this? It turns out the phoenix was Fawkes. Fawkes was the phoenix, Dumbledore's bird. I think I'm just gonna power through the end and I'll update you again once I'm done. Hi. So basically, I finished the book. I didn't have my seatbelt on that whole time. I'm usually so road safe, like that's so rare for me. Basically, Cornelius Fudge has Cornelius fucked everything up. He brought this Dementor into the place, right? Into the school. This Dementor kills Barty Crouch. Now they can't use him to testify in court or even as proof. Like, there's no proof that he did that now. So now there's no proof that Voldemort has risen. All thanks to Fudge. Way to go, you bloody legend. This is the first book where the ending wasn't like completely wrapped up. Everything is still kind of up in the air. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen now. Rita Skeeter's an animagus that turns into a beetle, and that's how she was able to get all this dirt on people and like find out stories. Being an unregistered animagus is illegal, and Hermione found out. Congratulations, you played yourself. Also, Ludo Bagman, he ripped off the twins at the World Cup with their savings. The reason he seemed so suspicious and why he was trying to help Harry win, he was trying to earn all the money back that he lost by placing a bet that Harry would win the Triwizard Tournament. He was trying to get him to win so that he'd like get his earnings back so he could pay people back. It's so funny how like that made him look guilty. And I also think it was really sweet how Harry gave the twins his earnings, his like Triwizard earnings, because they just lost their entire life savings, and he told them to open up a joke shop. I think that's so sweet. Oh, whoops. My poor neighbors. They hate me so much. Anyways, that's it for the vlog. We're done now. Thank you for watching, by the way, if you made it this far. If you made it this far, comment poor neighbors somewhere in your comment, and I'll reply to you, okay? Because bless your heart. I'll see you in the next one. Bye. And there you go. Those are my thoughts. No, the vlog is not starting first. We're doing the review part of this video in my car today. Yeah, it's been a fucking while, hasn't it? Sorry about that. Because it took me so damn long to finish this book, this video was 7 months in the making. That is actually disgusting to say out loud. I won't talk too long for this part of the video, mostly because the vlog is long and I talk about a lot of things in the vlog anyway, so we'll try to keep this part brief. I feel like I'm gonna faint. I don't even have the book with me. Professionalism. As always, the first part of this video is gonna be me sitting here talking about my thoughts overall, but you can skip to this time if you want to skip this shit and then just go straight to the reading vlog, because I know that's the part that everyone really comes here for. Today we're going to be talking about Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix by J.K. Rowling, 5th book in the series. Yeah, this book was interesting. It's honestly crazy how much the writing style has changed since the first book. It feels like I'm not even reading the same series anymore, which is really weird. Do you know what I mean? Does anyone else feel like that? By the way, spoilers, if you haven't read the book yet, don't watch this video because I'm just gonna start spoiling. From this point on, I'm just gonna spoil with no warning. This is your warning, okay? Okay? Umbridge.
Dolores Umbridge. Do we have to talk about her? I guess we do. Okay. All right. I'll let the vlog speak for itself. It's funny watching myself go from like, she's not as bad as I remembered from the movie. And then, you know, slowly.
Oh, this woman. Oh my god.
By the time we got to the end of the book...
Fuck off! Oh my god, I hate this woman so much. Like, just fuck off. I want to punch this woman.
My feelings, how you say, changed. I just wish Umbridge had a much worse fate in the end than just being traumatized by centaurs. You don't even hear what they do to her. You just see her getting carried away by centaurs and she's like, oh fuck. Like, I want to see a bitch die. I don't know if that makes me sound like a bad person or not, but like, I did not just suffer through an almost 800-page book with this woman just like being herself to get to the end of the book and not have some like sweet revenge. You know what I mean? Like, where was that? She deserved worse and I want my comeuppance. No. His book overall felt a lot more political than any of the others have ever even come close to. I mean, at the end of the last book, I could kind of tell that the future books, like, or at least Order of the Phoenix, was going to be like super political and deal with all of this shit because the ending set it up to be like that. I think while it was interesting and it did add a lot of depth to the series, I think. Oh, it was so frustrating to read about such a corrupt government and everything just being so unjust, and oh, it was painful to read. Dumbledore was really absent in this book. There was good reason to everything, don't get me wrong. In the beginning, I thought he was just being, like, shady as hell. I don't know why I thought this whole time, like, Dumbledore was some frail old man. Like, Dumbledore is actually such a bad bitch in this book. You wanna know who else is a bad bitch? McGonagall. I love her. Things that happen in this book. Sirius dies. Yeah, wasn't happy about that. I mean, I got my reaction to his death on camera. I guess the only real thing I have to say about Sirius at this point, looking back on the series, knowing that he's dead now, is I never really saw him as a father figure to Harry. Is that weird? Is that weird? I feel like everyone sees him as like, oh, he's like basically like Harry's dad now. He's like a dad to Harry. I don't know, when really, I just kind of saw him as like that cool uncle that's like low-key kind of a shithead, you know what I mean? I think he like expected Harry to be exactly like James, and then, because they are so similar, and then when he wasn't, Harry would do things where Sirius was like, oh, James would have done that, or like, James would have done this. Well, he's not fucking James, is he? Yeah, I don't know, it was almost like he saw too much of James in Harry. I don't want this part of the video to be super long, so we're just gonna leave it here. So without further ado, here is the reading vlog.
Okay, we've arrived at the place. It's the house. Harry's just like being so fucking salty towards his friends. So all summer he's just been in the dark about what's going on. And he's like salty that they've been able to be at the headquarters like the whole time. And they've known everything that's going on. I understand that it'd be like frustrating and annoying. He's kind of coming at it with the mindset of like, surely I've proven myself. Like, I've accomplished so much at my age. He says, big deal that you guys haven't been in the meetings, but you've still been here. While I've had to be stuck with the Dursleys, and I've handled more than you two have ever managed. He's so quick to just like discredit them and be like, why do you guys get to know what's going on? Like, I've done 3 times as much as you guys ever have. You wouldn't have been able to do any of it if it weren't for them, okay? Yeah, you saved the Sorcerer's Stone, but if it weren't for Hermione and Ron, you would have died after the first trap. Like, don't even try. Also, he's been getting the Daily Prophet. I've only been reading the front page. Because he assumed that if something about Voldemort had happened, it would be on the front page. Like, bitch. If you're gonna complain about being left in the dark and, like, no one's telling you anything, and you're just, like, dying to know what's going on, you could have known a little bit more if you'd bothered to read past, like, the front page of the newspaper.
Okay, so, like, Snape is definitely a spy, right? They totally made him go back to Voldemort, pretend to beg for forgiveness, so that he can spy. Imagine if he was like pretending to be a spy, but he actually went back to them, and then he was spying on the Order of the Phoenix as a spy for Voldemort when he started as a spy for them, but then he ended up being a triple spy. Probably not the case at all, but like scandal. I feel like that's why, because we don't know what his job is yet. He's totally a fucking spy, like, come on. Oh my god, hi again. These are the most comfortable pants I've ever encountered in my life. You better believe I'll be wearing these like every single day. No shame either. I wash them, I swear. Voldemort is trying to get his hands on this secret weapon
that's apparently worse than the Avada Kedavra curse. Apparently, the Order of the Phoenix is in possession of it. It's on our side. There was like this conversation that they overheard that makes it kind of clear that there's people taking shifts watching something. Okay, so we're at the trial now. Cornelius Fudge 100% changed the location of the trial last minute, try and like prevent Dumbledore from showing up as witness. Dumbledore rocks up late and he's like, witness for Harry Potter. Fudge is caught off guard. He's like, oh, Dumbledore, you made it. I see that you got the notice that the room changed. He's like, yeah, no, I didn't actually. Oh, I guess we'll need another chair then for you. Like, they didn't even set up a chair for it. Like, they 100% were not wanting him or expecting him to come. This government? Shady. And fuck Cornelius Fudge. This dude, everything he's said so far, so infuriating. He's just contradicting himself, trying to find stupid ways to dismantle their argument, but it's just like the stupidest thing ever. He's like, oh yeah, you used a hover charm 3 years ago. Harry says like, no, that was the house elf that did that. Oh, a house elf in a Muggle house? See, this boy makes things up. Dumbledore says, no, he works at Hogwarts. I can summon him right now if you want. Oh no, I haven't got time to interview a house elf. Moving on. Like, fuck off. Your argument has holes in it. Like, you can't prove shit. So annoyed. So, he's just continuing to be an asshole and just flaws in every single argument. It's like so frustrating. It's so corrupt and so unjust. I hate that so much in real life. So having to read about it is just a struggle. This is all because Fudge just can't admit that Voldemort is back, just wants to bury his head in the sand instead of facing reality. He's actually just doing everybody a massive disservice by trying to cover it up because everybody's going to be unprepared. Everyone's going to be fucked. On the upside though, Dumbledore just keeps dismantling every single one of Fudge's claims with logic, with just logic, because that's all it takes. This man is just so stupid. Dumbledore just keeps like shading him and I'm here for every second of it. Ron got made a prefect. That's so nice to see. In the last book, remember how it was like a thing that Ron always felt left out and like he never really had his own thing to make him special, and so him being made a prefect just makes me so happy. Ron! And Harry didn't get made prefect, so this time it's like actually Ron's thing. And Hermione, like Hermione got made prefect as well, but like no surprises there. Everyone seems to be in love with this chick, Luna Lovegood. I don't know if I like her. Sorry. As Snape still being an asshole to Harry, I thought with everything that just went down, he'd be like a little less of a fucking prick, but alas.
It's time.
So, first class with Umbridge. Yeah, she's strict and I can see how she's gonna be like a bit of a ball breaker. I don't know, like she's not as bad as I remembered from the movie. Yeah, never mind what I said before. Like this detention that she has, where he has to write like I won't tell lies and it like cuts the words into your hand. What the fuck? Ron made it on the Quidditch team. This is Ron's year, bitch. Not only is he a prefect, but now he's on the Quidditch team. Remember in book 1 when he looked in that mirror and he just like wanted to be Quidditch captain? And he loves Quidditch so much. Yes, Ron, finally. The Ministry and Umbridge are really starting to like piss me off at this point. They're fucking up the whole school under the guise that they're helping it and they're improving poor teaching quality. But really all they're doing is just implementing teachers like Umbridge. Okay, so they just assembled that group for the Defense Against the Dark Arts meetings. I feel like the Zachariah Smith guy is gonna be a snitch. He just gives off that vibe of like, I'm gonna fuck everyone over, you know? She's put up this bullshit notice, right? All groups, clubs, and like shit like that has been banned. Anyone meeting in like more than a group of 3, that's banned now. You can't be in groups of 3 or more. What the fuck is that? What a stupid rule. 3. Like 3 is the number she went with. Who the fuck is this woman? Like, who is this woman? She just keeps like trying to take things out of the syllabus. It's like the Ministry just wants to take everything important and worth learning out of the syllabus. They're trying to like really push this narrative that like there's nothing to prepare about. Why do you guys need to learn how to use Defense Against the Dark Arts? How is that helping anything at all? It's literally not. I don't even know what their angle is. Like, oh, no need to learn spells because there's nothing going on here. Yes, there is. Like, oh my god, they're so stupid. I just don't understand why the fuck they would think it is a good idea at all to not teach these kids how to protect themselves, especially knowing that Voldemort is back. Fucking Umbridge. Oh my god. The Supreme High Inquisitor will have supreme authority over all punishments. Shut up. This whole situation just has me wanting to jump into this book and like murder everyone. And a stupid like, fuck you. The Ministry and Umbridge just make me want to die. And now she wants to give them a lifelong ban from Quidditch. Harry and George. Fuck off. Oh my god, I hate this woman so much. Like, just fuck off. I'm so done with her. Umbridge, she's literally going around to these classes just like trying to find an excuse to fire the people that she thinks is like connected to the Order of the Phoenix. This comes into the Care of Magical Creatures class, right? She's like assessing Hagrid. Just like the way Umbridge was twisting things around and twisting Hagrid's words. And I just want to punch her in her fictional face. What else happened? Oh, Harry kissing Cho, his first kiss. Yeah, it was like kind of cute, aside from the fact that she was like crying over her dead ex-boyfriend. Like, okay. I don't know, like, if anyone else thought that was like a cute scene, but I just read that and was like, ugh. Harry had this dream about a snake. He was the snake, right? And he like attacked Arthur Weasley in his like weird snake dream. I don't know. Then in real life, Arthur Weasley almost dies. It wasn't a dream then. It was him like actually in the snake's mind, like controlling the snake. And then he like lunged at Arthur Weasley. Arthur Weasley was guarding something. Obviously that weapon that we know about. I really want to know what the fuck everyone is guarding. Okay, and then we overhear this conversation through the extendable ears. We're worried because Harry's possessed by Voldemort. Is he actually being possessed? Harry's about to have his first class with Snape. His like first occlumency class. Basically you can kind of shut off your mind to other people if you're really good at occlumency. Apparently Snape is really good at occlumency, which is why Harry's learning from him. Which, to be honest, is only confirming my suspicion that Snape is working as a spy for the Order of the Phoenix. Because if he's really good at occlumency, it just makes sense. Like, he can hide the truth from Voldemort. They're not going to have their secrets spilled to the dark side. Also, before they started, Snape, like, took a bunch of his memories and put them into the pensieve. Snape has something to hide, does he? Okay, so Umbridge found out about the DA meetings, and it was fucking Marietta, Cho's friend, that ratted on them. The snake. But basically they're in Dumbledore's office and Marietta's face just breaks out in like purple boils or whatever because of that curse. Basically if anyone ratted on the DA meetings, they'd break out in boils so they'd know who did it. That's what you get, bitch. So she doesn't want to say anything else because she's afraid of any more effects happening to her. Anyway, so Umbridge is like, oh, we have a witness that saw everyone meeting in Hogsmeade on this particular weekend when the DA meetings formed, which is against educational decree number fucking... And Dumbledore basically says like, no, educational decree number fucking suck my dick came out after that weekend in Hogsmeade. So that's void. It'd only be a thing if they kept meeting afterwards. And they turn to Marietta and they're like, did they keep meeting afterwards? Basically, Harry hears Kingsley Shacklebolt mutter something under his breath. And then he feels this like something invisible shoot past him. And then all of a sudden, Marietta has this empty look in her face. And then they ask her and Marietta just like shakes her head. That's when I realized Kingsley Shacklebolt like possessed this chick. Dumbledore is gone. How did this happen? Fucking Marietta. Although I will say, Dumbledore's exit is like the epitome of a mic drop. He just like bursts into a ball of flames and disappears. Queen. So now Umbridge is the headmaster. She's trying to get him to drink this tea that she's like so clearly put truth serum in. What a stupid bitch. Oh my god, Okay, so Harry had his occlumency class with Snape. Snape had all of his memories in the pensieve, right, as usual. And he had to rush off for some reason. So Harry went into the pensieve, looked at his memories. It went back to Snape's memories from when he was in school. And first it was really cute. It was like Harry got to see James and Sirius and all of his friends and stuff, like through Snape's eyes. But then they started bullying Snape. Harry's dad is kind of a dick. Harry's mum runs over. She's like sticking up for Snape. And he's like, oh yeah, I'll stop bullying Snape if you go out with me. She's like, I'd never go out with you. She had to change her heart, obviously. Anyway, she's like full on sticking up for Snape. And then they eventually leave him alone. And then Snape comes up to her. Oh, I don't need any help from filthy mudbloods like her. I was feeling bad for him right up until he called her a mudblood. He just tried to help you, you fucking asshole. Well, hi. I think I last spoke to you guys in May. It's August now. I haven't read pretty much anything. Alright, so pretending like that never happened, they went down to Hagrid's hut, right? Tried to ambush him. It was like a surprise attack. Some shitty plan of Umbridge's. This is like during their final owl exam. McGonagall goes down and tries to help him, right?
and then they all just attack McGonagall with like stunning spells. She falls to the ground. She calls them cowards. Excuse me. Rude. Hagrid runs into the forest. Now there's no more Hagrid and no more McGonagall. Okay, back with another update. Yes, I am still wearing these pants. I will wear these pants until my dying breath. That's how fucking comfortable they are. Holy shit. Harry has this vision, right? And he sees Sirius being tortured by the Crucio curse. He goes and tells Hermione. Hermione makes this really good point. You have a bit of a complex with saving people, you know, acting before you think and running to the rescue when you don't have all the information. She's so right. God, Hermione is just all over it. Has me kind of thinking, you know how everyone has been saying that it's so important that Harry learns occlumency and that his mind is connected to Voldemort? Feel like, I don't know, I kind of get a bad feeling. I think Voldemort could be just planting this in his mind because he knows. Oh my God, he could be trying to oh my God. He's trying to lure him to this place. He's using Sirius because he knows he'll fucking run after Sirius if he thinks Sirius is being attacked. This is gonna end so badly. I'm just ready for this book to be done. You know what I mean? I'm over it. So I have my tripod because you guys fucking love when I do sped up reading time lapses. They go into the Department of Mysteries. Harry's just seen that vision of Sirius. I don't know, you can kind of tell with these books when there's gonna be like some shit going down, and I feel like this is probably one of those times. I'm just gonna read, you're just gonna sit there and watch me. So I'm reading this chapter here. It's called Beyond the Veil. Oh my God, Sirius isn't there. Oh, I don't know if I've explained what's going on. So basically we're in the Department of Mysteries and he's there and Sirius isn't there, and then he turns around, there's Death Eaters. Of course it was a trap, and Harry's like convinced that Sirius is gonna be here. Like, he's not gonna be there. And they keep like evil laughing. Like, they're laughing at you because you're a fool. Okay, so this glass sphere that he's got, can we talk about the fact that they kept saying like, don't touch it, Harry? And he's like, it's got my name on it. I'm just gonna touch it. It's got my name on it. And then he touches it and then Death Eaters appear. Like, oh yeah. Basically, they're not gonna touch a hair on Harry's head until they've got the prophecy glass ball thing. Oh my God, they're just like shattering so many prophecies. Why would you do that? Okay, this fight scene has been going on for like 10 pages and I'm like so ready for it to be done. I don't even know what the fuck is going on anymore. Wizard fights are a whole nother level. I'm so lost. Why would you give Neville the prophecy? That's just like a recipe for disaster. It's gonna fucking break. Of course, oh my God. The fucking prophecy just broke. Oh my God. Did I not just say like 3 seconds ago, don't give Neville the prophecy, it's gonna break. And it fucking breaks it, like not even a page later. And no one even heard what it said. Oh, so dumb. Dude, fuck this book. Wait. Wait a minute. Why are they not trying to get him? Did Sirius just fucking die? Are you kidding me? Dude. I don't understand. No, he's not dead. He's not dead. Surely not. No, because like he just went through the archway. Didn't Harry go through the archway when they came in? There was like the veil. He went through it though and he survived. Oh, he doesn't go through it. So is he dead? Is that seriously how he fucking dies? Are you joking? Of all the way, like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. Like, he dies now. Like, this is how he dies. Fuck this shit. No, I'm done. I'm actually so annoyed. First of all, Umbridge doesn't even die. Like, that's a joke in itself. Or who knows, she might come back and then die in the end. But like, I'm hoping that happens. The fact that there was gonna be a death in this book and like that's who she decided to kill off. Okay, I've read a bit more. I turned the camera off because I was salty over a fictional death. Yes, hi, my name's Lily, welcome. But we're in Dumbledore's office right now and he's explaining
basically explaining about how it's all Creature's fault, and Creature is pretty much the one who dogged everybody. Little snake. Whatever, you're a shitty house elf anyway, okay? We all love Dobby more than you. But here's the truth. I don't know, Dumbledore decided that he was gonna be a little bit mysterious, be a little bit secretive, and not reveal the fact that he knew the fucking prophecy this whole time. He literally could have explained everything that's been going on, like, I don't know, 5 books earlier if he chose to. Thank you for that. Oh my god, amazing. So the reason Voldemort tried to kill Harry when he was a baby is because this prophecy was made, right? The one with the power to vanquish the Dark Lord approaches. Born to those who have thrice defined him. Born as the 7th month dies. The Dark Lord will mark him as his equal, but he will have power the Dark Lord knows not. Which I'm guessing is like, I don't know, the power of fucking love or some shit from his mom. And either must die at the hand of the other, for neither can live while the other survives. Harry has to kill Voldemort, and Voldemort has to kill Harry. I mean, they're both pretty fucking alive to me right now, so why can't they just both survive? It doesn't make sense. Here's the real kicker, the fact that Voldemort basically chose Harry, okay? Because there were 2 options. Neville fit the criteria as well. Voldemort chose Harry. I feel like nothing shocks me anymore with this series. I feel like in the beginning, like the tiniest little plot twist, like Sirius not being evil, and I was like so shook. Oh my god, no, oh my god, when the rat turned out to be a wizard, dead. And now I'm just like, oh yeah, prophecy, like, oh yeah, this and that, and fucking all this crazy plot twist, and it could have been Neville, and oh true, just like classic Harry Potter, you know how it is. I feel like I should be a lot more shocked than I am right now. I think I've just been burnt too many times. J.K. Rowling has gained my trust, and then just ripped it up, pissed on it, stomped on it, shattered it into a million pieces, lit it on fire, and then buried it, and then dug it up, and then pissed on it again, okay? That's what I feel like J.K. Rowling has done with my trust with this series. I'm not shocked anymore. This probably isn't even gonna be the final plot twist. There's probably gonna be some other bullshit that this woman cooks up. I'm so excited for that. That is all the footage I got. So this is my first time reading Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. This is my first time reading the series at all. I literally finished this book this morning. I started reading this like last month. Not even joking, it took me weeks to get through this first half, and then I read the second half in like 3 days, 4 days. The second half of this story, I was like really invested in it. Now I feel like fucked, you know? As with all the videos for the books in this series, I vlogged reading it. I'll leave the time that you can skip to if you just want to go straight into watching that. But I want to tell you some of my overall thoughts. I'll try to keep this part brief. Honestly, I have to say, this is my favorite book in the series so far. Obviously, Voldemort is a huge theme in this book. I really loved learning about Voldemort's backstory and his history, and finding out his motives and why he is the way he is, learning about his parents. I just really appreciated that like we spent so much time like actually learning about the main villain in this series. He's always like very present in the other books, but like from a distance, if that makes sense. He was very much in like the forefront of this story. I feel like Voldemort always like jumps out at the end being like ready to die, and then he gets defeated, and then he goes back into hiding, and then it's like, oh no, a new problem, clearly connected to Voldemort, but then he doesn't pop out to the end of the book again being like, surprise, ready to die. Like, I feel like it's just like the same. And then this book, we actually like, while we didn't actually see Voldemort at all in this book, like there was no like, did we? No. There was no like face off with him like with the others. I don't know, he was very present in this book, but in a different way. One thing that I never mentioned that I think is really funny is that the whole like, first of all, the Half-Blood Prince being Snape, like what the fuck? I genuinely thought for like all of the book that Voldemort was the Half-Blood Prince, and then it turned out to be Snape, which is actually really funny when you think about the irony of Harry simultaneously talking up the Half-Blood Prince when he has his book. At the same time, he's like feuding with Snape. Dumbledore's death. Dumbledore's death is one of the deaths that I actually knew about. Like, I knew he was gonna die at some point in this series. For some reason, I thought that I knew he died in the last book. Like, in my head, I was like, oh yeah, I know Dumbledore is gonna die, but he dies in the last book. Not sure why I was under that, like, dead set under that impression. So when Malfoy, like, came into his office and was like, I'm here to kill you, there was a moment where everything kind of clicked, and I was like, oh fuck. Surely there's gonna be, like, one big main character, like, who dies, and I always thought it was gonna be Dumbledore. Now I'm like scared, like who's gonna die now? Someone's gonna die, I'm sure of it. The fact that I didn't even catch on to the fact that Malfoy's mission
the whole time was to kill Dumbledore. How the fuck did I miss that? Because I look back now and I'm like I should have definitely 100% figured it out when Ron drank that poisoned wine from Slughorn's office that was supposed to be a present for Dumbledore. Surely I should have been like, oh, someone's trying to kill Dumbledore. And then, who would want to kill Dumbledore? Maybe Voldemort. Oh, Voldemort gave Malfoy a task. I feel like it would have been the easiest thing to figure out and I just didn't figure it out. So I really don't want to talk too much about it. I'd rather just like you watch the vlog because I tell you like all my thoughts about everything there. Everything from previous books is starting to like come together now and like click into place. I can already tell that like when I finish this series, I absolutely want to reread it at some point in the future because I think this is a series that like when you find out everything at the end, rereading it from the start, it would be like a completely different experience because you know everything that's about to happen. You know everyone's motives and seeds are planted. There's so many seeds planted in the first 5 books. Wow, did I really just check in the first 5 books that like it would be so fun to go through and read everything, knowing everything. I'm gonna leave it now for the vlog. So without further ado, the vlog.
Am I the only one who thinks it's like it doesn't make any sense that Malfoy decided to put the invisibility cloak on Harry, turning him invisible and paralyzed so that he'd be sent home on the train, instead of just stealing the cloak? Don't you think if Malfoy, of all people, had Harry paralyzed and he had his invisibility cloak in his hand, that he wouldn't just fucking steal the invisibility cloak and Harry would probably never be able to get it back? He had the perfect opportunity to just steal that invisibility cloak and he didn't take it. And I feel like that's not a very Malfoy thing to do. So Harry's ended up with the old potions textbook that used to belong to the Half-Blood Prince. And I can already tell this is going to be important because the book is literally called Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. So of course I'm going to tell you like who I suspect it to be. I'm going to go with the obvious choice and just say the Half-Blood Prince is Voldemort. First of all, he goes around calling himself Lord. I feel like anyone who would go around making people call him Lord would totally be the same kind of person to nickname themselves as a prince. Everyone knows that Voldemort's a half-blood. Maybe it's I reckon it could be Voldemort and then he's going to end up learning all of this stuff. Harry's going to be studying his notes from school and then end up using them all against him in the future. Honestly, that's my new theory. Harry started taking private lessons with Dumbledore. Dumbledore is showing him memories in the Pensieve, right? This guy from the Ministry went to Tom Riddle's mum's house. Her name's Merope, and she was living with her brother Morphin and her dad Marvolo. The family is described as being like really grotty. They're pureblood wizards, right? And they think they're so amazing and like better than everyone because they're ancestors of Slytherin. But they are literally the grottiest family like ever. They are literally so, like, obviously I've never seen a photo of them, but like you can just tell that they're like greasy as fuck. When we were introduced to Morphin, I just pictured like a rat like dipped in dirt. You know those like chocolate coated ice creams where they like, it's like a soft serve ice cream and they like tip it and they dip it in chocolate and it comes out. That's like Morphin, except like dirt. Look, Merope's story is kind of sad, not gonna lie. You can't help but feel kind of bad for her, but also like you're actually not that good of a person either, considering what she did. That, and also Dumbledore has this like blackened hand, it's been injured from something. He was wearing Marvolo's ring. He got it around the same time that his hand got ruined. They're obviously connected in some way, but I guess we'll find out later. Katie Bell from the Quidditch team got cursed by this necklace that she was delivering to Hogwarts. It was seen in Borgin and Bott's Cursed. Basically, she was under the Imperious Curse, delivering something. I think it was the thing that Malfoy was pointing to in Borgin and Bott's in the beginning of the book. When he pointed and he said to the store guy, like, make sure you keep that one. So I've been forgetting to vlog while reading. I've just been writing them down in my notes. So Harry started doing lessons with Dumbledore. He showed him this memory going into the orphanage where Tom Riddle was living at before he came to Hogwarts. You know when you watch a horror movie and there's like a really creepy yet insanely intelligent kid and they're just, you know what I mean? They'll say like one line and you're like, straight up, fuck this kid, like I'm out, nah. That's basically Voldemort as a kid. I don't know, there's something really unsettling. What else happened? Oh, Ron and Hermione. They are at that like petty high school drama age, but like, man, I think reading it now, I honestly like can't with the fucking angst. I'm starting to get really confused as to whether Snape is trustworthy or not. I don't know, he's just like saying shady things. And also like, why the fuck would you make an unbreakable vow to the other side? You would only do that for the side that you were actually loyal to, surely. Unless he knew that saying no when they asked would arise suspicion, and he made that unbreakable vow to the dark side so that they never would question his loyalty to them. I really would like to know what he has done or said to make Dumbledore so absolutely sure that he can trust him, because... So Voldemort killed his own dad and then blamed it on his uncle. You know, just Dark Lord things. Anyway, so we're going through more memories. He asked Slughorn about Horcruxes, and then Slughorn tampered with his own memory so that Dumbledore wouldn't be able to know what he actually said to Tom Riddle. It was like a really shitty attempt at altering a memory, so it was really obvious that he did it. So now it's Harry's job to get the real memory of Slughorn. So now it's really important that Harry finds out what the real memory was, because they can't keep doing lessons until they find out what Slughorn actually said to him. Is this Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, or is this Harry Potter and the half-assed attempt to get this fucking memory? Because, bitch, he went into his office and was like, oh, Slughorn, can you tell me about Horcruxes? What do you think he's gonna be like? Oh, yes. Voldemort once asked me the same question. Let me sit you down and tell you my secrets. Like, I feel like Dumbledore should be giving private lessons to Hermione, because she's the only person here with some fucking sense. So it turns out that the Defense Against the Dark Arts job actually is cursed. They went back into the Pensieve and they looked at this memory from... Voldemort was like half a lizard, half a man. Like, I don't know, he was in that weird, like... This is when Voldemort was going through, like, snake puberty. And he came back to Hogwarts, asked for the job as the Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher. And Dumbledore was like, nah. And before Voldemort left, he did that, like, little thing in Dumbledore's office, and then obviously cursing the job. And now every teacher that's worked there has not stayed in that job for more than a year. So if he's cursed the job, then I guess that means Snape isn't going to stay for longer than a year either. I wonder what'll happen. Just, like, he'll either leave, or maybe he'll die. Because, like, I can't see any way that he would spend so long trying to get that position and then just go back to being like a potions teacher or something after 1 year. Like, there's no way. And we've still got one book left. I reckon he's either gonna die or he's gonna leave the school. Something's gonna fucking happen, I swear to God. So I just got home. Nobody's here. Amazing. Harry finally got the memory off Slughorn. The way he did it, by the way, is like so manipulative, but like I love it. I'm gonna live read this chapter because I feel like we've spent so much fucking time building up to this one memory, and it's like so important that some shit's probably gonna go down, and if I want to capture my reaction to anything, it's probably gonna be this chapter, maybe. Okay, I've heard the term Horcruxes before, right? Like, I'd heard of them, but I didn't know like what they really were. It's when you split your soul and put part of your soul inside an object so that you, if you die, your soul is still like earthbound and undamaged. So you do it by killing people. It rips your soul in half. Wait, does that mean every time you kill someone you rip your soul and make a Horcrux? Or you have to kill someone to make a Horcrux? Oh my god, fucking Tom Riddle like trying to find out exactly how to do it. Gross. Fucking hell, splitting his soul like 7 times. Bitch, calm the fuck down. So he clearly made 7 Horcruxes then. Okay, so the diary was a Horcrux, which figures. Okay, so one of them's already destroyed then. If the diary is one of them, they've already destroyed it. And then obviously the ring that Dumbledore had, surely that's gonna be one. Yeah, the ring, he just said, the ring. So the diary and the ring are destroyed. Yeah, but surely that the Slytherin necklace is another Horcrux as well. He killed that woman for Hufflepuff's cup and the Slytherin necklace, which belonged to his mum. So if he made his uncle's ring a Horcrux, then surely he made the necklace one as well. Hufflepuff's cup, the locket, the ring, the diary. That's 4 of them already. 6, 7, so there's 3 left. Dumbledore thinks Nagini is like the 5th Horcrux, or the 6th, the last one. Because if he got something of Ravenclaw's or Gryffindor's, there still leaves a 6th one. Because apparently you can put your soul into a live object. Voldemort was still at least 1 Horcrux short of his goal of 6 when he entered your parents' house with the intention of killing you. He seemed to have reserved the process of making Horcruxes for particularly significant deaths. So He's saying that he thinks Voldemort was intending to make his final Horcrux with Harry's death. As we know, no, this doesn't make any sense. As we know, he failed. He used Nagini to kill an old Muggle man, and it might have occurred to him then to turn her into his last Horcrux. I feel like Voldemort wouldn't use some old Muggle man's death to make his final Horcrux. Like, why would he do that? Oh, but then again, because remember how he was like, yeah, no, and he was like really weak. He like didn't have a body left. No, but he didn't have a body to make a final Horcrux, right? I'm really confused about how all this works. Seems to have an unusual amount of control over her, even for a Parselmouth. Holy fuck! Oh my god, no, you know what? What if Harry's a Horcrux? It would not be the snake. Voldemort would not turn her into a Horcrux over some old Muggle man dead. No, because, okay, no, hear me out. I reckon fuck, I actually think I figured it out. So, basically, Voldemort, when he killed Harry's parents, oh my god. Okay, my fucking theory back in book, like, what was it, 2, Chamber of Secrets? And I was like, okay, I bet that part of Voldemort's powers went into Harry so that he was able to speak Parseltongue when he killed his parents and when he gave him the scar. And then in the other book, Goblet of Fire, he could, no, was it Goblet of Fire or Order of the Phoenix? I literally can't like get my book straight, but he was literally like connected to Voldemort for like an entire book, and he had to do occlumency and all of that bullshit, and he could see into the mind of the snake as well. Oh my god, no, but what if they're both Horcruxes, and that's why they're all connected, because they all have part of his fucking soul in them. Because if Harry could see, remember how he had that dream of him like being Nagini the snake, and then he dreamt that the snake attacked Arthur Weasley. Like it ended up not being a dream, and like the snake actually did attack Arthur Weasley, but Harry saw it happen. He could feel Voldemort's emotions, and he also was connected to the snake. He could see what the snake was doing. So if Voldemort put a piece of his soul in the snake and into Harry, then surely all three of them would be connected because they're live. Like, it's not like putting your soul into an object. It's like putting your soul into a living thing. It would merge with the pre-existing soul, surely, like to a degree, or they'd live in the same body together. Yeah, that fucking makes so much sense. And because, oh my god, because he killed Harry's parents, so he was totally able to turn Harry into a Horcrux. He just killed his parents. Fuck. Oh my god, did I just figure out like the biggest plot twist of all? Like Harry's a fucking Horcrux. So they can't kill Voldemort until all of the Horcruxes are destroyed, basically. Wait, but if he has to kill, but he can't kill Voldemort if he's a Horcrux, because then he'll have to die as well. If they have to destroy all the Horcruxes, wouldn't Harry have to die? Unless they can kill Voldemort and then the final bit of his soul will just continue to live in Harry forever. That's if he is a Horcrux, because like, this is just me speculating. Although I think it's pretty fucking like dead on, if I do say so myself, but who knows. And also, Dumbledore is explaining all of this shit and he's not saying anything about Harry. He literally pointed out the fact that Voldemort would have made a Horcrux with Harry's death. See, what I don't understand is Voldemort's like, oh yeah, Voldemort would only make Horcruxes out of significant things or significant deaths. So he would have made a Horcrux from your death, but he didn't because he didn't kill you. So instead, he made a Horcrux out of a snake when he killed an old Muggle man. For no reason. That doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, obviously not. He wouldn't not make one when he killed Harry's parents and then make one years later when he kills some random Muggle. I don't know. I feel like if Harry was a Horcrux, Dumbledore would have figured it out on his own, because like, if he's come this far, I don't know. I feel like if I was able to come to this conclusion, like surely Dumbledore could have as well, but he's not saying anything about it. So maybe like it's not plausible for Harry to be one and I'm just like confused. Page 511, he literally says, he's explaining about how Harry has the power of love and Voldemort doesn't have that, so this is his advantage over Voldemort. You have flitted into Lord Voldemort's mind without damage to yourself, but he cannot possess you without enduring mortal agony. What he just said, I feel like, is literally just saying without saying, you're a Horcrux. Pointing out the fact that Harry can see into Voldemort's mind. It's really painful for Voldemort to try and like go into Harry's mind, but Harry can go into Voldemort's mind without a problem, right? He was in such a hurry to mutilate his own soul that he never paused to understand the incomparable power of a soul that is untarnished and whole. Right, of course, because Harry was a baby at the time, right? So like, you can't compare Voldemort's like fucked like split into 8 million pieces soul compared to a baby's soul. But he's saying Voldemort was in such a hurry to mutilate his own soul, meaning break his soul apart some more, pointing it out like so obviously, and like he's still not saying shit. Like I don't understand. Like, am I wrong? Because I feel like this is so fucking obvious. The idea that Harry could be a Horcrux is not occurring to either of them. He broke his soul apart when he killed his parents. Harry has the scar. He feels Voldemort's emotions. He can see into the fucking snake. If the snake's a Horcrux, then that just makes like all the more sense. Why are neither of them acknowledging that? Man, what the fuck is going on? Am I wrong? Am I going insane? I guess I'll find out at the end of the book, but like, surely I'm fucking correct. Surely. It makes like too much sense not to. And like, if that's not the plot twist, then like, I should fucking write the Harry Potter series. But then again, my Crookshanks theory made a lot of sense, and that wasn't correct either, so we'll see. So I just finished reading chapter 25. Snape is the person who overheard Professor Trelawney's prophecy. Snape is the person who went and told Voldemort. That's why Voldemort went and killed Harry's parents. Like, Snape is the person who told him, and that's the reason Harry's parents are dead. And then for him to also like completely hate Harry once he gets to school. Dumbledore told Harry that Snape was like, it was like one of his biggest regrets, which like, what the fuck? He hated James. And also he's been a massive asshole to Harry. Like literally the entire time he's been at Hogwarts. Like, what the fuck do you mean it was one of his life's biggest regrets? I'm sorry, but like, I don't trust Snape. He is not on our side. I really feel like the evidence that he's actually working for the other side and not with the Order of the Phoenix is really just like stacking up at this point, because I don't understand why Dumbledore trusts him so much. I just don't get it. Like, I just don't get it. Okay, so this is where we are now. I just finished reading the chapter where Harry and Dumbledore go into that cave and they get the Horcrux. And there was like a cave full of fucking dead bodies and poisoned water, and he was like force feeding Dumbledore poisoned water that like, I don't know what was happening, whether he was like in heaps of pain. The lightning struck tower. Now I'm guessing someone's gonna fucking die, because look at this shit right here. The dark mark. Someone's gonna die. All right, off we go. Let's do this. We'll wait. I'll wait and then we'll see if I'm back. So I'm back. So shit has kicked off, like well and truly. Okay, so Malfoy's mission this whole time was to kill Dumbledore, which first of all, like, I'm not sure how the fuck I missed that this whole book. Now that you think about it, Malfoy isn't a killer, clearly. Like, he's shaking, he's fucking shitting his pants. The thing that like I'm pressed about now is the fact that if Malfoy's mission this whole time from Voldemort was to kill Dumbledore, then the unbreakable vow that Snape made with Malfoy's mum was that he would kill Dumbledore if Malfoy didn't. And he made an unbreakable vow. Like, what the fuck? This proves that Snape is working against Dumbledore. And here's the thing. Okay, here's the thing. I know that Dumbledore is gonna die in this series. That's something that I was spoiled for. For some reason, like, I've genuinely believed that it's gonna happen in the end of Deathly Hallows, but now I'm kind of like, it must happen in this book. And it must be Snape or Malfoy that kills him. Malfoy has him cornered. He's weak. Snape's made a vow to kill him if Malfoy doesn't. Yo, if Dumbledore has to die in this book, I'm actually gonna be fucked. Like, why? I don't know, unless Dumbledore knows that Snape made the unbreakable vow, and if he told him, but I feel like that's highly unlikely. Like, I'm just gonna keep reading, we'll see. He's not gonna do it. Snape's gonna do it. He's not gonna do it. Fuck. Well, now that there's Death Eaters in the room, like, of course he's gonna do it now, because if he doesn't... Snape is here. Oh my god, he's like begging with Snape. What the Severus, please. He literally killed him. He did it. Well, who's gonna die in Deathly Hallows now? I don't know why I'm shocked, because like, I knew Dumbledore was gonna die, but like, I genuinely believed up until fucking right now when he's died, like, I thought it was gonna happen in the end of the final book. I thought that was gonna be like the big death at the end of the last book, like Dumbledore dies, you know what I mean? So who's gonna be the big surprising death now? Fucking Ron? In my head, no one told me this, but like, this is what I assumed, right? And since I'd assumed it for so long, this is what I like just believed happened. Like, I thought I knew this was gonna happen, that it was gonna be like Voldemort, Harry and Dumbledore at the end of Deathly Hallows, and then Voldemort was gonna kill Dumbledore. He was so sure that he was like working, that Snape was trustworthy. And like, you know what, to a certain degree, as much as I was starting to distrust him, a part of me was like, well, if Dumbledore trusts him, there must be something that's gonna get revealed later. But like, what the fuck is that? And he begged him as well, like when he was about to die, he literally begged him. That's fucked up. And he, oh my god, the fact that he like, before he had a chance to defend himself, he decided to hide Harry, like to immobilize him so that he wouldn't be able to move and do anything stupid. He gave up his final chance to like protect himself so that he could protect Harry. I don't know how to feel. So I decided to keep reading. The Horcrux was literally fake. This whole time. Like, everything they went through was for a fake Horcrux. Dumbledore weakened himself by drinking that potion, like, for nothing. And who the fuck is R.A.B.? And also, Snape is the Half-Blood Prince. This whole time, it was him. The book belonged to his mother, Eileen Prince, which explains why the book was so old that like it didn't belong to anyone around Harry's dad's age or people like that. Because like, I guess that's why like I wouldn't suspect Snape, is because I knew it couldn't have been someone from that generation. And that's where he got his nickname, Half-Blood Prince, because his mum was a witch, his dad was a muggle, and then he's a half-blood, and so he called himself Half-Blood Prince. So, I finished the book. Bill got attacked by Greyback, the werewolf. The whole drama with Molly Weasley being like, oh, he was gonna get married as well. Like, she's like crying. And Fleur is like, what do you mean gonna get married, bitch? Like, we're still getting married. I bet everybody was thinking that Fleur was just like shallow as and like not gonna lie, I kind of expected Fleur to just stop giving a fuck about Bill and like disappear shadily after his face got mangled. But apparently she's not shallow, which honestly seems like a plot twist in itself. The funeral was a really beautiful image, and the fact that he was buried at Hogwarts as well is really nice. The first headmaster to actually be buried at Hogwarts, because apparently none of the others were. Oh, also Harry broke up with Ginny in order to protect her because he knows that Voldemort would go after her. But I realized I've not spoken about Harry and Ginny at all. Honestly, I feel like it came out of fucking nowhere. I don't know if I just missed any and all hints in previous books. I know in the last one there was kind of like, he was like building more of a relationship with her, but like I already know that they end up together, right? I don't know. To me it felt really fucking random and out of nowhere. Look, it probably could have just been me not paying attention to the other books, because like I know there was something in the other book, like I don't know, there was one scene that I remember, but like I think maybe I've been too preoccupied with other plot points. Anyway, that's it for the vlog. Thank you for watching. Those are all my thoughts for Half-Blood Prince, the 6th and second last book in the Harry Potter series. To be honest with you, I'm kind of like freaking out about reading the final book. Like literally, what the fuck? Like, what's gonna happen now? There's no Dumbledore. Harry doesn't want to go back to Hogwarts, so we're gonna have a Harry Potter book not set at Hogwarts. Like, I don't know. Oh my god, it's over. It's done. I have finally read Harry Potter. Wow, it only took me multiple years. For a period, we were unsure whether I was gonna ever finish the series, but I did. You don't understand how good it feels to know that like, I don't have to avoid Harry Potter memes ever again, you know? I don't have to go through Twitter and as soon as I see a fucking lightning bolt and some glasses, I'm like, it feels really liberating knowing that it's impossible for me to be spoiled for this series now, so I can chill. Literally so much shit happened in this book that like, it's impossible for me to have captured every reaction and whatever the fuck. I was thinking in my head like, cool, I'm gonna do the same thing with the last books. I won't start like recording myself reading any of this until, you know, probably about here. And less than a quarter into the book and like 8 people were dead already, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Now that I've read all the books, I can 100% confirm that Half-Blood Prince is my favorite book. This one just kind of fucked me up, and that's pretty much it. What a ride. Still haven't seen all the movies though. I still need to watch Half-Blood Prince, both parts to this book, and then all the other random ones that apparently are part of the Harry Potter series now. I really want to do 2 things, okay? First of all, I want to actually make a video doing this. I want to go through and watch all of my vlogs and react to some of my first conspiracies for the series, because there are some things that happened in this book where I feel like the idea was planted in my head ages and ages ago, and then there are some things where like everything makes sense, like questions from books way earlier were answered. So I think it'd be interesting to go through and do that. But I also like, I know I just finished the series, but I know I definitely want to reread the books at some point, because this is a series that is probably even better the second time you read it. You can notice all of the little details that were planted in the first books. Knowing everything about, oh, here's another thing, Snape and Lily. That whole storyline. Okay, I feel like I've seen a lot of discussion. I haven't really looked into it, obviously, because I didn't want to spoil myself, but I've seen like a lot of threads and shit where people are like, is Snape a redeemable character? And I'm like, I don't understand how this person can be redeemable. And so up until I read that, I was like, there's no way that this guy is a redeemable character at all. I just don't see it. And you know what? Like, even now, the fact that Harry names his kid after Snape, I don't understand. Like, at all, because what the fuck? Anyway, I think I'm just gonna leave it now and we'll just get into the vlog. So without further ado, the final vlog. I have missed you. Did you miss me? Guys, we're on the last book. I started reading this yesterday. I'm like 100 pages in. First of all, Tonks is Bellatrix's niece. Like, is this something that we were supposed to know the whole time and I just like missed that detail? Because like, I feel a bit caught off guard. Also, Dumbledore's backstory, the book that Rita Skeeter wrote and all of the articles and stuff. Slander. The tabloids are garbage, but it's really weird because you never actually think about Dumbledore's backstory. I know he's just always been like the old, wise, old figurehead. You don't question where it came from, it's just always been. Like, that's kind of how I view Dumbledore. Also, I can't believe Hedwig fucking died. But like, so chill as well. The book is like, oh yeah, Hedwig got hit. Rip, see ya. She had a good run. Anyway, this is what's happening now. Excuse me, I need to mourn. George loses his ear, Mad Eye Moody dies, and somebody in their Order of the Phoenix group snitched on them. Somehow they found out the real date that they were moving Harry. They were moving, you know the story. And they had like the 7 Harrys and oh, it was really clever. But like, somebody in that group snitched on them. Anyway, I'm gonna keep reading and I'll update when something interesting happens. The more that gets revealed about Dumbledore's past, the more I'm intrigued about him. Also, Scrimmager is dead. The Ministry's fallen, it's gone to shit. We aren't even a third of the way into the book yet, for fuck's sake. That fight with those guys at that all-night cafe came out of nowhere. Fucking hell. They're safe now. They're at Grimmauld Place. Sorry, I'm like addicted to these chips. So I just read the Ministry of Magic's infiltration thing. That was so intense. I feel like there was so much room for error, for everything to fuck up and go wrong, and it didn't. I don't know what's happening now, but they've made it out of the Ministry. They're hiding out in this forest. So they're using the extendable ears to eavesdrop on Ted Tonks and the goblins. And they've just said that the sword of Gryffindor that was hanging in Dumbledore's office this whole time was a fucking fake, and no one knows where the real one is. It was used by Dumbledore to destroy the ring Horcrux, and since it's like, fuck, what's the, imbibed? I don't know what that means. Absorbed the basilisk venom, it can be used to destroy the Horcruxes. Now they need to find it though. Hi. Also, Ron has cracked the shits and abandoned them. He's expecting Harry to know all the answers and like have this rock solid plan and like know everything. But he's literally done nothing to help them. He's just been like complaining. He's fucking annoying me at this point. We're up to chapter 18. Okay, so they went to Godric's Hollow and they visited the Potter's graves and the old house. And then they found this old woman who claimed to be Bathilda Bagshot. Bathilda, I guess is how you say the name. It wouldn't be Bathilda. She was acting so fucking strange. I was like, okay, she's either lost her shit and like forgot that she can do magic, forgot that she can speak, has no idea what day it is, like that kind of situation, or some fucking bullshit is about to happen. And what do you know? Some bullshit happened. She led Harry upstairs away from Hermione. Oh, it was creepy as. And then it turned out to be Nagini the snake. The snake just like pops out of this woman's face, and when I tell you it was fucked, it was fucked. Started speaking to him, but in Parseltongue, which is why he wanted to lead Harry away from Hermione, because if she spoke around Hermione, Hermione would have figured it out. Voldemort came, they got attacked, everything just happened so fast. I was reading something and then like all of a sudden they were twisting into some portal and then Voldemort was there and then Harry was Voldemort and then Voldemort like couldn't get to them and then they disappeared. I honestly don't even know. There was a flashback to when Voldemort murdered Harry's parents through Voldemort's eyes, and then somehow they ended up getting away. Harry's wand is broken. Which, first of all, how is he gonna get a new one or get his one repaired? Voldemort has like captured the, only 2 good wand makers in the wizarding world, I guess. What's gonna happen when him and Voldemort face off, because they're not gonna have the twin cores anymore? Anyway, look, I'm gonna keep going. You literally can't catch a break. It's like bam, death, bam, plot twist, bam. They're trapped. They're not trapped anymore. Voldemort. Oh no, they got away. Oh, broken wand. Oh no, twist. Another death. You just can't catch a break. So this is where we are now. Okay, they destroyed the Locket Horcrux with the sword. They found the sword in the bottom of the lake. They said that there was someone watching them through the bushes. I feel like it's kind of obvious it would have been the same person who conjured up the dough Patronus. I can't remember anyone who has like a silver dough Patronus. Also, the Deluminator worked as a portkey to get Ron back to them. I'm still kind of confused how that works though. No, was it because they said his name and he was thinking about them and then it transported them back? I'm confused. And I've been thinking about Dumbledore's will. He said in the will, left his Deluminator to Ron Weasley in hopes that he would think of him when he uses it. So does that mean that they need to use the Deluminator while thinking about Dumbledore in order to reach something? Because if he got to Harry and Hermione by thinking of them and then they said his name. But I don't know if it was because he was thinking about them or because they said his name. I don't know. I'm kind of confused at how that worked. I'm on page 400. I just read the Deathly Hallows chapter, the story about the 3 brothers. There's an unbeatable wand, a stone that brings people back to life, and an invisibility cloak. Obviously, they already have the invisibility cloak because they have a real cloak that doesn't deteriorate with age and blah, blah, blah. They obviously have the cloak. So the other 3, obviously the other 3 are real. Think like how reckless they have been with that cloak throughout the years, given like how invaluable it is. Ditched in a forest, left in a hallway. The most powerful wand, the Elder Wand, is Dumbledore's wand, right? I don't know how I know this. I'm not sure if it was like hinted in an earlier book and I'm like remembering, or if this is just like something that I know inherently because like it's not something I was spoiled on, but like I think maybe this is one of those things. There are some things where there's just like no escaping like the knowledge of, and I think the Elder Wand is one of them. I think because I've seen like photos of merchandise throughout the years and they have like the Elder Wand and it's like Dumbledore's wand, and I remember like what his wand looks like from the movies and shit. If that's supposed to be like a huge plot twist later on, then I already know, so that's been ruined. But there's a stone that brings people back from the dead, which I'm not sure if that's the Philosopher's Stone or if it's something else. I can't remember. There was some fact about the Philosopher's Stone. I can't remember. I don't know if that's going to be the stone or not. I feel like maybe it is. What other stone has been mentioned in this series? Like, anyway, so that's what we're at now. Okay, I'm back. I'm on the floor. I think we're gonna live read this chapter. The Chosen One has chosen to fuck them all over because Harry said Voldemort's name. Now there's a bunch of, I don't know what they are, Death Eaters, bounty hunter people, and they have them cornered, and amazing. So it's Greyback and like a bunch of other people. I guess their faces are really like swollen. They can't actually recognize, and they're trying to like lie about their identity. I don't know if I even said they're in the woods. Have I said that they're in the woods? Fuck, I don't remember what I've updated and what I haven't. They're in the woods, they're on the run, and then Ron came back to them. Yeah, I said all this, didn't I? Ron came back to them, then Harry said Voldemort's name, now they're surrounded. Yeah, okay, cool. We're up to date, beautiful. Fuck, now they found the sword. Now he's got no wand, he's got no sword. Fuck's sake. Now they're gonna get captured. They caught them. They're bringing them to the Malfoy mansion where they're gonna hand them over to Voldemort. He can't even tell if it's Harry or not. Surely their faces aren't that messed up that even Draco can't tell. They've brought him to the mansion and they're like, oh yeah, Draco, like, is this Harry, Ron and Hermione? You went to school with them. And he's like, oh, I don't know. They can't even tell if the scar is a scar or not. Fuck, they're fucked. They've got no wands. They're actually screwed. Oh my god. Okay, so they're in the dungeon and Luna's in there with Ollivander and the goblin. Oh my god, stop yelling, Ron. Fucking stupid. Okay, so shit has hit the fucking fan. They're in this dungeon. Everything's fucked. They don't have wands. Everything's fucked. Dobby has appeared out of nowhere. Apparently he can get in and out of the cellar because elf magic is different to wizard magic. So Dobby has taken Luna, Dean and Ollivander to Bill and Fleur's house. Oh, okay, Griphook lied about the sword and he said that it's a fake when it isn't. Oh fuck, is this where Dobby dies? No. I knew he was gonna die, but like, was not expecting that. He died rescuing 7 people. That's like, what a way to go out. And most importantly, he died a free elf, okay? They broke into the bank, right? With Griphook, who betrayed them, like straight away. Oh my God. I knew something would go down with the goblin, because after Bill said, never make a deal with a goblin, especially over like something that they've made. If something was made by goblins, if a wizard buys it, they just consider it as like the wizard borrowing it, and like, I don't know, they're really weird about like the shit that they make. So I was like, cool, Griphook's gonna fuck them over, like no doubt. Lo and behold, he did. He took the sword, however, they got Hufflepuff's cup. They have another Horcrux now, but they have no way to destroy it. Harry had this vision, Voldemort, like, oh, it's actually kind of funny. He goes into Voldemort's mind and Voldemort's like, oh no, my Horcruxes are at risk. Let me think of every location that I've hid them in. And he like starts going through them. And I was thinking like, okay, if this is how we find out where the last Horcrux is, then this is such a cop-out and I'm disappointed. He conveniently lists all of them except the last one. He's like, and the last one at Hogwarts, in that secret location where I hid it. At Hogwarts. He visualizes every other location. This one that was hidden in the cave, and then this one that was hidden at this exact location. Oh yeah, and the one at Hogwarts, but I'm sure that's fine. So now, it's a race to see who gets to it first. Okay, so Hogwarts has turned to complete shit. It's turned into a Death Eater wasteland. Now we're reconnected with Dumbledore's army. The teachers had this face-off with Snape. And then Snape, who just jumped out of a window like the slimy rat that he is. I literally hate that guy. They're barricading the school. Voldemort's about to arrive. Shit is about to well and truly hit the fan. And I'm just trying to prepare myself for at least 7 deaths. Can't wait for like everyone to die. Let's do this. Let's go. Okay, so he's run into the ghost, the Grey Lady, who apparently is, what's her name? Rowena Ravenclaw, the house head. Her daughter is the Grey Lady, the ghost. And she's saying that she stole her diadem, and she's saying that she hid it in a hollow tree in a forest in Albania. And then she told Voldemort where it was. So that's how he found it. Okay, so just to update you on what's happening. He ran into Ron and Hermione. They went to the Chamber of Secrets and they got a bunch of basilisk fangs. He hid it in the Room of Requirement. Have I spoken about Aberforth? I don't think I have. Oh my god, my camera's gonna die. No. Okay, so the diadem, they're looking in the Room of Requirement, and Malfoy, Crabbe and Goyle are in here, of course. Oh my god, like straight up Crabbe just like trying to use the Avada Kedavra curse and just kill them. Are you serious? Is this really what we've come to? Just like people just shouting out Avada Kedavra? Crabbe is fucked. And Crabbe died. Oh my god, when you start like shouting killing spells and then you're the one that ends up dying. Is it bad that I don't feel bad that Crabbe died? And as if he saved Malfoy, they literally just tried to kill them and he like saved his life. I'm definitely not that much of a bigger person. Like I would be petty and be like, if you're gonna light a fire and try to kill people and shout killing curses at you, like I'm not gonna turn around and try to save your life. Like screw you. You started this mess, like get yourself out of it. Can we just talk about Percy? Hello, Minister. Did I mention that I'm resigning? Like, that's his one-liner. Oh, Fred. Oh, that's shit. Oh, what a way to go out. Man, that's actually so sad. Oh, that's actually so sad. He died laughing at his brother's joke. I'm not, like, shocked over this death because I knew that Fred was gonna die. I got spoiled for that. So like I knew it was coming, and like we're on the last book, we're in like the last few chapters. I kind of expected it. And that's it, 2 deaths.
I have a feeling like Lupin is gonna die as well. I feel like he's gonna die. Because like Tonks has been running around looking for him, like he's probably dead too. Sirius died, like Lupin's probably gonna die as well. Because he's like a significant enough character, but also enough of like a side character that like Hermione wouldn't die, but like Lupin would die. Or Tonks will die. One of those two will die, I bet. I actually bet. And you know who else? Kingsley Shacklebolt. I'm back. I've been reading. Okay, so I'm reading chapter 34, The Forest again. So they went into the Shrieking Shack and Voldemort basically just turned around and killed Snape without a hesitation. He believed that he wouldn't be able to master the Elder Wand unless he killed Snape. Man, wow. Snape kills Dumbledore, gets his wand. The wand becomes Snape's, I guess, with how it kind of works with like wand ownership, I guess. Voldemort takes the wand, but he can't truly master it because he doesn't like rightfully have the wand. He needs to kill the owner or defeat the owner, right? Snape killed Dumbledore and then, so the wand becomes Snape's. Voldemort took the wand, but because the wand, I guess, now is loyal to Snape, and so Voldemort now had to kill Snape. Yeah, anyway, basically, Voldemort just turned around and was like, I need this wand, even though you've been a loyal servant to me, and you just killed Dumbledore, see ya. Either way, I don't think it's necessary to kill for ownership, like, but he just went to that extreme and just killed Snape without hesitation, because he was like, need the wand. Murder. That's like next level. Anyway, so they're in this shack and they come out and they're talking to Snape and like talking to Snape. Snape is dying on the ground. He's saying like, take it, and like he has this weird silver shit like coming out of his neck, which at first I was like, is that unicorn blood? And then I realized that I was just a fucking idiot and they're clearly memories. His last words were, look at me, to Harry, and then they had like this weird eye contact and then he died. So now they're gonna look at his memories. I'm actually so curious to see. Maybe this is gonna explain like all the shit behind Voldemort. What is this chapter that I just read? Okay, that is completely fucked. So I just read The Prince's Tale. Snape was in love with Harry's mom, Lily Potter. They were best friends growing up. He's spent this whole time working with Dumbledore against Voldemort. This whole time for like 17 years to like, I don't know, undo his mistake. I don't know what he like since he led Voldemort to her and that was the reason for her death. It's like, I don't know, his way of like trying to reverse his mistake or make up for it somehow. What the fuck? What the fuck? Oh my god. Oh, I wish I was recording that. Why did I not do that? Oh, I wish I was recording myself. That was probably like the one twist that I should have like had been recording, and I fucking didn't record myself. I'm so sorry. That is some heavy shit. I'm actually speechless. I can't even think right. Like, fuck, that is one character. That is some character that she created. Like, think of how, oh fuck, think of him like killing Dumbledore, knowing the people that he has actually been working with, all of these people that he has been like dedicating the last 17 years of his life to work with, would then like fucking hate him after that and like effectively sever all of those relationships, completely break all the trust between those people and him. And like, they're the people that he was actually loyal to this whole time, but he couldn't tell anybody because then it would ruin everything. It would ruin the plan that him and Dumbledore had. And he had to let everyone believe that he was evil, even though was like forced to do something like that, like killing Dumbledore for the plan to work. That is like that's a really, really fucked up thing to think about. Fuck, man. His character like makes a lot more sense now when you think about that. Like, his hatred for Harry isn't just like really ridiculous because he didn't like his dad in high school. Harry represents not only his dislike for James and that he looks so similar to him, but like Lily died for Harry, and like none of his actions are right or okay. Like, let's be real, he's still a piece of shit at the end of the day. He did it all for the wrong reasons, because like he doesn't give a fuck about Harry. He doesn't give a shit about anyone except for Lily. Oh, and you know what, like, I've seen so many posts on social media. I've avoided them. Obviously I didn't like read into them because I'm not trying to spoil myself, but like I've seen so many discussions about like, is Snape a redeemable character? And I've always thought, like, what the fuck do they mean? Like, he's just a dick and that's it. Oh man, like, I don't think a character like that, I don't think it's as simple as like, oh, he's redeemable or oh, he's not. Because I don't know, I just think like, that is one fucking well thought out,
really well crafted character. It's not like he has to have some big backstory that completely redeems him and it's like, oh wow, he was a good guy the whole time. Like, because not really, but like a lot of his actions are not justified, but they make sense now. And like, that's the beauty of this fucking random ass plot twist. Well, it's not really random when you think about it, but like this out of nowhere plot twist. Even his like hatred for Neville, you know? He's got that weird grudge against Neville, always picked on Neville, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, this is a kid whose parents died as well. Like, literally, what has he done? When you think about it, Neville, in a parallel world, Neville would have been the chosen one, and Voldemort never would have gone after Harry, and Lily never would have died. So like, I think what makes his character so like three-dimensional and human is the way he acts towards these people is very human. Anyone who is that unhealthily obsessed with one person and for them to die, like, obviously he's not going to have a well-balanced and like, healthy attitude towards it after. He's not going to look at things in a sane way. He's going to be the type of person that holds some fucking irrational grudge against a random child that's done nothing, because like, for anyone to be that like unhealthily obsessed with one person, of course he would also act like that. Of course he would take out his resentment in a way like that, like bullying these children who've done nothing because they represent something to him. Like, it makes no sense, but it makes perfect sense. And like, it's kind of mind-blowing to think about. Dumbledore was dying this whole time, and it was like agreed upon for ages that he was going to kill him. Dumbledore like begging Snape at the end. He wasn't begging for his fucking life. He was begging him to go through with it. Oh, that's messed up. I'm so fucking impressed. This whole time you just look at Snape and you're like, he's just a stereotypical like evil villain, and there's like nothing else to him. He's just mean for the sake of being mean. One-dimensional like token villain this whole time, and now I'm like mind blown. This isn't even something that J.K. Rowling just pulled out of her ass for the last book to like make a huge plot twist. Like, this makes sense. This is something that makes sense throughout the entire series. And when you trace every interaction with Snape back to his history with Lily, like, everything fucking makes sense perfectly. She must have had that planned from like the very, very beginning. Oh my god. I need to take a break. I don't think I can like mentally handle any more of this book today. I've read one more chapter. I'm up to 35 now. Voldemort gave Harry 1 hour to meet him. One thing that I don't think I spoke about yesterday was Dumbledore essentially, basically his whole life, keeping Harry alive just so that he could die at the right moment, because he wanted him to die after all the Horcruxes were destroyed, and then Harry was like the last Horcrux, and then Harry had to die. Like, this whole time Dumbledore knew that Harry was gonna have to die at some point. That is just so wrong. Harry realizes this, knows that he has to die in order to truly beat Voldemort. So he goes to meet with him with the purpose of like letting Voldemort kill him. Oh, like, what kind of bravery that would take to like willingly walk into your death like that, like knowingly walking towards your death to do something for the greater good. That's like a level of bravery that you would just not expect from a 17-year-old boy. Like, that's fucked. Anyway, Voldemort killed him. It's like he killed him, but he didn't. Like, I know he doesn't die. I'm just confused because I know that Harry Potter doesn't die. So I guess I'll see in the next chapter, like, how he somehow stays alive. Guys, I'm so close to finishing this book. Like, seriously, I've got like, what, 2 chapters left? Okay, so Harry is in like limbo, I guess, like purgatory. Apparently purgatory is King's Cross Station. So the way that this was explained, Voldemort, when he took Harry's blood back in book 4 or 5, I can't remember which one. I think it was Order of the Phoenix. Okay, basically, like, Voldemort killed the part of his soul that was in Harry. Harry's soul is still alive somehow because the fact that Voldemort used Harry's blood to bring him back to life. Because of, like, Lily's enchantment and her blood or something like that. No, Harry's blood. As long as her enchantment lives in Harry's blood... Fuck, this is so confusing. Now that is like in Voldemort's body. As long as Voldemort's alive, Harry's soul is alive. I'm kind of confused, but like apparently that's the reason why. Okay, my camera is like trying to die, so I'm gonna be really brief. Snape never mastered the wand. He never defeated Dumbledore because they had an agreement this whole time that Snape was going to kill him. So it was like, he didn't defeat Dumbledore, because he couldn't have. It wasn't possible. Draco defeated Dumbledore by disarming him, but the fact that Harry disarmed or defeated Draco like weeks beforehand, it was like something about whether like the wand was gonna be able to recognize that like its owner had been defeated, and then if it would like default to Harry, and then when Harry uses it, it would like recognize that he beat Draco. Some shit like this. I don't know, it's getting really confusing. Like, Voldemort is dead. It's like the series is over, basically. There's one more chapter left, but like the series is done. Voldemort died. He tried to kill Harry. Voldemort's curse rebounded against him, and he died from his own curse because the wands worked against each other. It's kind of fucked how like Harry full on just exposed Snape's secret to everybody. Like, that's kind of sad. It's like he spent like years and years and years hiding that secret, and he like wanted to take it to his grave, and then Harry's just like, Snape was in love with my mother and that's why this happened, and blah blah blah, and everyone's like, what? That kind of sucks for Snape. Voldemort is dead. Harry is the master of death or whatever the fuck. Like, he's got the wand and the cloak and the stone, and there's one more chapter. It's the 19 years later thing. I can't actually believe it. Okay, so I didn't film when I finished the book, but I finished the book. I feel so accomplished. I feel so proud. Like, I've finished Harry Potter. I've read the Harry Potter series. The ending was really nice. I'm really happy that J.K. Rowling decided to do that whole 19 years later when Harry and Ron and Hermione, all of their kids are going to Hogwarts, instead of just ending it with like, oh, Voldemort died, that's it. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. It's like, just to know like how things all panned out in the future. It was just such a nice way to end the series. I just don't understand why Harry would name one of his kids after Snape. I understand that like, oh, he was so brave and blah, blah, blah. But like, he was still a massive asshole to him and all of his friends his whole time at Hogwarts. You know, fair enough if you want to recognize that like, oh, what he did was really brave and heroic. But like, I probably wouldn't go as far as like naming one of my children after him. I don't know, it's kind of awkward being like, oh yeah, he only tried to kill Voldemort because he was like in love with my mom. And also considering like how mean he was to you and all of your friends your whole time at Hogwarts, like growing up. I feel like naming your kid after him is just like a little bit much. Like, do what you want, but like, why? And you know what? I feel like it ended properly. I don't feel like I'm sad that the series is over, or like I want more from the series. I feel like I got everything that I wanted / needed out of that series. All ends were tied up. I don't know, I just feel like there's nothing really that I'm like, that I can think of now at least. I'm very, very like overall happy with the series and how it like panned out. And the amount of plot twists and like shit that was revealed in the last like 4 chapters of the final book is fucked. But like, oh well, what you gonna do? That's it. That's it. This is the last video. Thank you so much for watching this video and all of the videos that I've made for this series. Thank you for following me on this journey of reading Harry Potter. I know a lot of people are like living vicariously through me. I am so happy that I lived under a rock my whole childhood and never really like fucked with Harry Potter, because this is like the coolest. I love the fact that I've managed to just capture my reaction to this series almost the whole way through. That's really fucking cool, and like these videos are gonna be awesome to have. But yeah, that's it for this video and that's it for this series.